선수들 자체는 아마 뭔가 올해가 마지막이다라고 생각할 것 같아요. 게이머 이후를 준비하면서 마지막 연도 뭔가 후회 없이 해보자는 생각으로 하지 않을까 싶어요, 다들 다. 네.
조어라 완전해서 유종의 미를 거둬야 되지 않나 생각.
온라인 대회 진짜 하듯이 되게 마음 편하게 할 거예요. 야, 온라인 대회 맞구나 생각해보니까.
뭐든 시작이 있으면 끝이 있는 거라고 생각해서 잘 마무리했으면 좋겠어요.
게임을 10년 하면서 올해처럼 좀 더 잘하고 싶은 적이 없었던 것 같아요. 그래서 연습은 열심히 하고 있고 후회 없이 좀 즐겁게 할 생각을 하고 있어요.
그냥 작년처럼 다 열심히 해가지고 재밌는 한 해 보냈으면 좋겠어요.
정말 진짜 마지막 기회일 수도 있겠다라는 생각 때문에 좀 더 불타오르는 것 같아요.
뭐 대회가 없는 건 아니기 때문에 없는 것과 축소된 건 좀 다르다고 생각하고 연습을 온라인상으로 해봐도 작년이랑 선수들의 연습량의 차이가 없다고 느껴서 제 스스로 좀 실망을 했어요. 이제 판이 축소돼서 이제 다들 의기소침해할 때 내가 더 열심히 해서 그 격차를 따라잡아야겠다 생각했는데 애들이 연습을 꾸준히 하는 걸 보면서 제가 의욕이 오히려 떨어지지 않았나 생각합니다.
오랜 기간 동안 GSL 참여한 입장으로서 이제 좀 팬들한테 마지막을 장식하는 시즌이 되지 않을까, 이번 해가. 한 판 한 판 늘 열심히 잘 해야겠죠.
사실 이런 인터뷰를 2019년도부터인가 좀 많이 했었는데 뭐 올해는 이제 진짜로 마지막인 것 같아가지고 팬 여러분들하고 이제 관계자분들이 좋게 막 후원해 주시고 좋게 봐주시고 응원도 많이 해주시고 관심도 많이 가져주셔서 이렇게 계속 유지될 수 있다고 생각을 했어요. 그리고 마지막으로 이제 1년 진짜 1년 남은 것 같은데 많이 응원해 주시고 재밌게 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
그래도 저를 아직 응원해 주시고 좋아해 주시는 팬분들이 아직 많이 계세요. 그분들을 생각하면은 너무 지금도 너무 감사하거든요. 그래서 이번 GSL 최선을 다해 준비해서 좋은 결과 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
안 좋은 상황임에도 이렇게 다시 한번 GSL 무대에 설 수 있어서 굉장히 기쁜 것 같고,
결과보다는 노력하는 것 자체가 즐겁기 때문에 지치지 않는다 이런 생각으로 끝까지 좀 한번 해보고 싶습니다.
성적을 못 내고 있었다가 이제 그래도 조금은 내려고 하고 있기 때문에 저는 긍정적으로 생각을 하면서
옛날 생각을 좀 많이 했던 것 같아요. 제가 10대에 GSL 시작했는데 10대 GSL, 20대도 전부 GSL 보내고 30대는 지금도 GSL 하고 있잖아요. 인생의 반을 거의 GSL에 보냈는데 덜 열심히 할 수 없잖아요. 그래도 있는 거 계속 끝까지 열심히 해야지.
선수 입장에서는 축소된 게 아쉽긴 한데 그럼에도 불구하고 이렇게 대회를 열어준 아프리카한테 굉장히 고마워하고 있고 또 이렇게 열어준 만큼 선수들이 잘해야겠다는 생각을 가지고 있어요. 저도 열심히 할 거고 좋은 경기 보여드리는 게 팬분들한테도 좋을 것 같아요.
What is up, everybody? GSL Code S starts again here. We're in Season 1. I'm Tasis, joined with me is State. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Good to be back here at GSL, man. It's been a while since I've casted some StarCraft 2. I'm looking to get into it again.
I know. We have a little bit of time off. It's good to finally get back into things. We do have it a little bit different this time. We are floating behind chains instead of in our normal studio. We've done a little bit of downsizing, as I'm sure you guys already know, but it's going to be a lot of action-packed games regardless. And, looking at that interview with those players, I was getting emotional.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite expecting that. I knew we had a title video heading into this thing, but I mean, a lot of these players talk about how much the GSL means to them, how much the fans mean to them, the game, and, there's kind of a tough time right now for StarCraft 2 across the world.
Yeah, well, the world's also in a tough time as well. We're kind of in a recession, and I'm glad that Africa TV continues to support StarCraft 2, and we're going to be doing this, even if it's in a little bit of a smaller capacity. So we don't have the players here in the studio. We're actually not even in the normal studio that we record this at. They're going to be playing from home. We have cams set up like that, but it's going to be the same games, same players, same epic plays that we've seen before.
Yeah, and based on the interviews, man, it sounds like these players are even more determined to kind of give it one big last hurrah, Even if it isn't the last hurrah, they're more motivated than ever to give the best possible performance they can just in case. And, with the smaller GSL size too, down to 16 players here in the round of 16 starting things out, it's going to be even more cutthroat than it's ever been.
Yeah, we're really getting the cream of the crop over here. So here's our full schedule. you can see we're going to be on every Tuesday and then every Thursday. Now, I said we can't have a live studio audience, but that's not true for the final date. So if you look down there, when the grand final is, you can show up, get in. I believe you're going to have to purchase a ticket. We'll have more information on that as we get closer to that. And you can have the same experience that you may have had in the past if you come and joined us in the studio before.
Right, so it'll be every Tuesday and Thursday heading up to that finals. Round of 16, round of 8 group stages will be played online. And then, of course, that one big finale with both the semifinals and the finals all kicking off.
It's going to be fun. It's a little bit like what we did in Super Tournament, where we had the Final Four and then the finals itself on the same day. So we're going to have that. This is another feature we've added in here, is there's a Patreon. This money goes to support the prize pool, 100% of it.
Yeah, 100% of proceeds from the Patreon and from the Afrika TV donations. If you're a fan that's watching on Afrika TV,
right,
you can give star balloons. If you want to go to patreon.com, I think /GSL.
Yeah,
Go
right
ahead.
there. Yeah, patreon.com/GSL. Yeah, and if you want to just donate, in really whatever currency you're using. And this is basically, I mean, this is where we're at now. We already saw the Patreon get set up for ASL as well,
right?
That Artosis and I are still doing. But with the way things are, it's going to come down to the community to basically support and fund this as we move forward.
Yeah, and it's such a good faith thing, too, from Afrika TV to take 100% of the proceeds of these donations directly into the prize pool of the GSL. So if you're a fan that wants to support the GSL, support these players, no better way to do it than to tune in, or if you can spare it, to also contribute like that. I think we have some nice rewards there for fans as well. I think there are some tiers that have first come, first served tickets to the GSL finals. That'll be happening in a couple of weeks. In addition, there are things like player high-res photos for their profile pictures and that sort of thing. I think we have some backstage videos as well.
Right. So some little perks if you want to support the GSL. And, as you can see, we've got a whole new map pool. This is going to be a fun season for sure. And we're going to be going pretty rapid fire, which can be interesting as well. It's going to be 2 days a week cranked down until we get right to that finals. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and this round of 16, as you said, cream of the crop. It's going to be pretty hotly contested. We have some new players that are coming back. Innovation is going to be playing this season, which is something I'm looking forward to. With the round of 16, the competition is so fierce that we have some players that weren't even able to qualify that we might expect to see here. And we have a good look right now of the groups for the round of 16, starting off today with Maru, Nightmare, ByuN, and DRG.
Yeah, this is going to be a very fun Group A, but all these groups are really interesting. Was a very Terran dominant GSL to start this off. Only 5 Protosses, and then this is quite the plot twist, especially if you've been watching GSL the last couple of years. There's only 3 Zergs. Now, Zerg has historically done pretty well in StarCraft 2. And obviously the 3 Zergs that we have here today, these are like the very best of the best Zergs that you could ask for. But I think it's much more likely this is a GSL where we may not have that same kind of Zerg dominance.
Yeah, we might have a Terran or a Protoss champion here at the first GSL of 2023, and unfortunately no foreigners were able to qualify for the round of 16. I believe both Scarlet and Special got just 1 round from qualifications, but inevitably did fall. So it's gonna be a tough road for all these players here on that journey to the finals. I mean, looking at every single one of these groups, I think today it's a little more lopsided in the favor of, I would say, Maru and ByuN. I mean, DRG, he had a lot of top 6 finishes last year in GSL, so he's certainly someone that you can't write off. But besides that, a lot of these groups, I'm not too sure who's going to advance from them.
It's a tough one to call. I look at Group B, I think Hero's got a real shot. Over in Group C, probably Dark gets out first. But anyways, we can focus in on our group that we've got here today. So it's going to be Maru, Nightmare, ByuN, and DRG. Now, DRG, obviously he was the best that we could see in Heart of the Swarm, but he's actually been pretty solid the last couple of years. Maru, I think he's a shoo-in. I think he gets out easily. I think it's going to be a tough group for Nightmare. ByuN, he's been a little bit hot or cold. I think it depends on how he approaches the games here today.
Yeah, it depends on what ByuN we get here today. Is it going to be ByuN at peak form, playing his best? Because if it is, I mean, he could take on anyone in the world, anyone in this group, certainly. But for me, the most interesting story here is going to be how DRG performs in these EVTs, because, I would say he's favored against Nightmare. Nightmare is certainly the dark horse here in this group to advance. But you know, DRG, if he's able to take some series off of Maru, some series off of ByuN, he might actually make his way into the round of 8 with an upset.
So with Maru, I just imagine this guy is going to 2-0, 2-0, and move right on out.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy has won GSL 5 times and then gotten second place 3 times. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's basically had the most success in a GSL ever. He's the closest thing we have in Korea to Flash for StarCraft 2.
Absolutely, and he has said in the past that TVT is his hardest matchup right now, but this is somebody that's still having success ever since, you know, IM Katowice, where he got second place, lost to Oliveira in the finals, but since then, I mean, he beat Oliveira 4-0 in a tournament, I think it was a Pigsty in March. That was another online event, and he also beat ByuN, who's in this group as well, in a best of 7, 4-2. So Maru, TVT, it's his toughest matchup. His TVT versus ByuN might be the hardest match that he plays today, but
yeah, Nightmare's a guy who occasionally like floats into a GSL, doesn't usually get that far. Obviously, I mean, with the state, you know, with only 16 players that we have, it's so hard to even get this far. So, I mean, this is going to be a tough group for him. I think it would be tough no matter what group he was in.
Right.
But especially a bad hand to be dealt to you when you're going up against the likes of Maru.
he didn't have a bad showing in the qualifiers, though. He did beat TY 2-0, and also in his qualifying match, he was able to dispatch both Sue and Solar. So, you know, traditionally, I used to kind of think of this guy as a little bit of a PvP sniper. That was his best matchup. He would come up with these builds, these sharp timings, and use good control to kind of leverage that into series wins.
Yeah.
Where PvT and PvZ for him, a little bit more shaky. But, you know, given the GSL qualifier performance that we saw from him, who knows? Maybe he has a chance.
Yeah, let's see what he can come up with. Now, Maru's somebody who's really been defining the meta with Terran over and over again. I really don't know how he's going to be approaching this. He has been able to mix up his play style and reinvent the way that Terran can be played so many times over. So I'm expecting this to probably be a 2-0, but I would love to be proven wrong here. I would love to see Nightmare actually take this.
Yeah, underdog stories would absolutely be hype. And if Nightmare were to advance, I mean, I don't know who between Maru, ByuN, and DRG would be able to, you know, match that in second place. I mean, that's a gauntlet to go through. Obviously, Maru would be the favorite as he begins his quest here in 2023 towards that G6L.
We are going to we're going to get to see what everybody's room looks like by the time we're done with this. I'm already like, I wonder if it's hard to get into those drawers that are by Nightmare, like if that's whereas Maru's room, very spacious.
Yeah,
he's got the shrine of all of his trophies.
He's got room for more trophies on that wall, man.
Nightmare, we know this guy has plenty of jackets when it gets cold. Anyways, guys, we are ready to go into our first game. Let's do this. GSL continues on in 2023. Okay, so I guess we're not going to do the other player intro just yet here.
No, Maru's setting an early SCV.
And we actually have no sound right now. We'll probably get a little bit of this tuned in here, but right now it's just you and me. At least all I can hear. Stay. Anyways, Maru is sending an SCV all the way across the map up here towards the top right. He has gotten his own gas, and so obviously he's going to be trying to be aggressive a little bit early on here. Do you think this could be some kind of Marauder pressure?
Double gas, I'm thinking it's more likely to be Reaper into some kind of tech, but we'll see exactly what he comes up with.
I think you're right. I didn't even notice the second gas. Sorry about that.
No, he just threw that down. It's only halfway done. But, you know, Nightmare went for a gas first into gateway opening, so that gateway and cybernetics core might be slightly delayed, just a smidgen later than usual. We'll see if he's able to, you know, hold on from that Reaper coming out with the units that he has as this probe. Going to drop down the Nexus here right on 20 supply. So core is going to be the next building coming down here for Nightmare, but that barracks tasteless already done. Reaper started.
Yeah, the Reaper's going to be coming out right now. We do have the core wall in here over onto the side. And it looks like with the first rally, he's actually going to be sending the Reaper out immediately. He's not going to be trying to pull that up and try to spring any kind of surprise on him.
Yeah, and I was wondering whether there was going to be a factory proxied outside the base as well, but actually just going to be building that there, the natural ramp. Maru's SCV now coming back in, confirming the build here for Nightmare, and that Reaper just about to pop.
Yeah, the bunker's now coming down. Reaper inbound here. And behind this, back at home, we've got a factory coming here. I would imagine we'll have a starport shortly after that. The probes are going to have to be pulled away. Now, this is not going to be any kind of attack that should cause any fatal damage, but it's definitely going to trip up the build order, the opening here for Nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a pretty bad situation here for Nightmare. Already losing 2 probes, might lose a third one. That Stalker only 75% done, so a third probe will fall, and losing 3 probes out of 24 early is a big deal. To add insult to injury, a Marine also coming here with that that bunker, and this is going to be a tough position here for Nightmare to break. I mean, he has this Nexus out, but he can't really use it.
Yeah, I don't even know about this. He's got a shield battery that he could regen that, but I mean, the SCV could just repair the bunker, so I'm not sure what the rationale here is for this. He might be just a little bit panicked. Another Marine's going to come down in here, and the damage is just going to continue to pile on here. That one pylon actually over at the entrance is going to be shut out, and that will not actually supply block the Protoss here. But after that, the only other target is going to be the Nexus.
Yep, Robo and Gateway in production here for Nightmare, so it looks like he will be using a Immortal to try and bust this thing out, and Reaper's going to come back in. Gets to spot the tech right there. Does see the Robo. Oh, no, actually the Gateway going down. So he doesn't know exactly what Nightmare is choosing in terms of tech to try and, quell this situation that he has here in his natural expansion. But, Maru, he's going to be happy with this pressure. He's expanding behind it. Cyclone now coming out. And,
oh my God, this is so
man.
good. He just calls it right there, comes out, shoots down that Stalker. This is kind of a disaster. I said when this rush started, this isn't going to be fatal damage, but it will be a little bit annoying. Well, it's turning out to be really difficult to handle. The shields are already gone here on the Nexus. The Cyclone's now coming out. Is he going to lose this Nexus as well?
He might. I mean, that Robo, it's going for a Warp Prism, so he's going to try and use that to avoid the lock-on the Cyclone and maybe micro a little bit against that bunker. But, frankly, I think that Nexus might be going down. It's already half HP. One more Gateway in production.
This is wild. He's going to take the Nexus out. He has a command center that's going to be finished. I don't know if there's actually a way to navigate this where you come out surviving this as Protoss. He's going to sell off that bunker. He's going to pull back with the rest of his forces. Protoss is stuck now with 3 gates. They've got a Warp Prism. Maybe there's some counterplay.
I like this play here from Nightmare. He needs to get some damage done. The question is, will he be able to find any damage over at Maru's base? Setting a probe down to the natural expansion, he will rebuild that Nexus, but as it is already down 5 workers and Terran 2 orbitals with those mules as well. I mean, Maru's income is huge right now. Nightmare needs big damage.
Yeah, he is going to take that depot out. I think that Maru has the right idea. Whenever you have the threat of a War Prism coming and then there's a lot of Stalkers inside, and I think you want one siege tank sieged up exactly in the middle of your base and kind of space that out so that they're going to be at risk of overextending. It does seem like Nightmare may try to actually commit into this.
Ooh.
He does take the Cyclone out with a very nice force field, but overall, so much of his army is so bruised.
Yeah, everything's battered and bruised, but luckily for Nightmare, he wasn't going to actually lose any units right there. All those Stalkers remaining alive. Cyclone does get cleaned up, so that's a win for him, but the question is that enough damage? You're going to trade some HP for, what, a Cyclone, some Marines, but at the end of the day, I like Maru's position so much more here. I feel like Nightmare needs to get more done.
Yeah, this is definitely not enough. To be honest, I almost feel like this is probably going to be a pretty easy game from here on out for Maru. I mean, his rush went so well. I was actually, if I could be critical for a little bit, I don't like the way that Nightmare tried to respond to it. It was like a very much hinged on Maru playing poorly to execute that. He has a battery, like he's eventually just going to kill the SCV that's repairing it, and then over time he'll damage the thing enough that it'll go away. Totally didn't work. I think maybe rushing for an Immortal would have been a little bit better, but it's like we talked about before this series started that Maru is always good at changing things up and redefining how to play Terran, and clearly Nightmare was caught off guard.
Absolutely. That proxy barracks combined with Nightmare going for gas first into an expansion, just not really going his way in terms of the draw as the Reaper comes in, does see the double gas here at the natural expansion. Also confirmed that there's no third Nexus here for Nightmare, so I kind of like what Nightmare is doing here because he has to make a play, right? Given the position that he's in, where he's behind economically, he took a lot of damage early on. And so for him, he's not going to be playing that kind of standard game where you go for, a faster third base, potentially into Blink Stalkers or Colossi or Disruptors. It's him going 2 bases, Charge Zealot, Archon, adding in Templar, getting Storm here on 2 bases. But Maru, he knows how far ahead he is. He already scanned this position earlier in the game. He's doing it again, just trying to confirm what tech is coming out from Nightmare because I mean, he knows that he has a little bit of buffer, right? He has enough of a lead that as long as he doesn't blunder this or get caught off guard somehow, he should just be able to push this into a win.
Yeah, this push is looking pretty scary. You know, the beating that Nightmare took early on is only going to make the push that's coming out now so much stronger. He is going to have Psystorm finishing. Maybe he can have some pretty incredible connections depending on how bunched up stuff is, but I think just the raw power of what's coming here from the Terran, especially now that he's spacing this out so Storm can't be utilized as easily, this is going to be a tough one, I think, for Nightmare to survive.
Yeah, we'll see Nightmare coming down now. Storm drops out of the Warp Prison, but it does get disabled, so no more Templar are able to drop. One Siege Tank does go down. The bunker gets denied too, but at what cost? Is Nightmare's lost so much energy here on these Templar. Most of the bio remains alive. The medevacs have now healed it up, and with 2 Siege Tanks here left at the bottom of this ramp, I'm not sure if Nightmare's going to break this.
Yeah, he's going to try to come down here with those storms. The first one is very lackluster. The second hits only a little bit of the infantry. That tank is still, oh no, it's now picked off, but has the damage already been dealt? We see the stutter step micro come forward here and wipe out everything that these shots connect with.
Yeah, that's just a ton of damage coming Nightmare's way. Those 2 Widow Mines absolutely clutched there at the front of Maru's army. Got massive splash damage hits off, and you know, Nightmare, he's going to fight for his life. You're going to try and survive as best he can, but Maru right now just in a commanding position.
Yeah, another big warp in comes in, and it looks like, you know, right now Nightmare's barely alive. I'm worried for him. You know, we're seeing these more and more infantry parade down here. The tanks were taken out. That part is at least good, but now the Terran is supplementing this with Widow Mines. There is an expansion being taken down here, and it is just now spotted by Maru.
Yeah, and that's Maru just going down to check that expansion. He's not going for a drop. That's an empty medevac. He just has his wits about him. He knows that Nightmare is going to be hungry for a third base to try and keep this very resource-intensive army composition going, and Nightmare, you know, his hand is forced here. He's going to have to try and fight to hold on to this position, but I don't know if the Storms are going to be able to connect.
Yeah, this is just not looking good. That was a good one right there, but I'm just worried that this army is not meaty enough to actually fight what's over here. Another pretty good Storm coming down on some of these Marauders, but as the micro plays out, it looks like, my God, he's actually driving this back. This is wild.
Yeah, those Storms are about as best as you could possibly hope there for Nightmare. His army at one point was pretty much just 2 Immortals and a bunch of Templar. He was able to clean up all of the Marines there with the Storm, but the problem is that Maru's army here, it's so microable, especially here with these Widow Mines, that if you're Nightmare, how do you actually fully push Maru's army away from this position? He's going to try and saturate this third base now, but Maru's just going to keep burrowing these Widow Mines, and I don't see there being any possible way for Nightmare to break this entrenchment.
Yeah, I mean, I got to commend Nightmare for basically trying to take the fight, but we're starting to see the supplies really get different here. We're starting to see the Terran close in on this. That's going to be game 1. GG Maru with an S-class game from the very start all the way to the very finish. An impressive showing, and kind of a different opening than what we've seen from him before.
Yeah, not really. Haven't really seen too many proxy Reaper openings like that from Maru.
It's one Reaper too, and then it's Marines, which was interesting. In my head, sometimes I'll see somebody proxy and start to make a Reaper, and I always think, like, well, now he has to keep making Reapers. There's no reason why they have to do that, but we've seen a lot of rushes that are like that. But that's a cool approach to basically come in with that one Reaper. You start to pick off the probes. This hiccups all the income. Then right when the Stalker's out, you send the Reaper back into the bunker, but then Marines come in.
Yeah, and the Marines were coming from an angle where Nightmare really had no chance of actually going in to intercept them. Yeah. So they just kept filling up and filling up. There was that battery on the high ground, but there really wasn't enough firepower to utilize that at all. You know, you would see him poke down with 1 Stalker, maybe 2. The SCV would repair, the shields would be regenerated, and then you're just back at the same position that you were before, basically, as Maru able to ride that momentum on Babylon to a pretty clean victory.
Royal Blood is going to be map 2 here. And let's see what Maru's got in store for us. Nightmare, you know, I think he did an okay job, all things considered, but he does seem to be outmatched, outclassed. It seems like Maru's playing a new style, and Nightmare just wasn't ready for it. Let's go into game 2 and see if he can recover or if Maru closes this out 2-0. Oh, we might skip the intros here. He's going to send this SCV out now.
Thought we had a second there. I went to go drink some water, and then I just look, and there's a SCV rolling across the map again. Oh, goodness. Maru's got some fight in him today. He's feisty.
Yeah, this is going to be cool. So let's remember, we saw one Reaper, then Marines. What will he do this time? You know, Maru is also known for having like one starting opener, and then he branches it out into a bunch of different things. So even if you start to experience what looks like what he did last game, he may have something totally different to throw you off.
Yeah, we'll see where he decides to go with this. Nightmare, by the looks of things, going for basically the same opening. Does have a probe scout moving across the map right now, so he should know earlier than last game at least that there is going to be a proxy underway here. And for Maru, you know, so far everything just about the same. Second refinery also going down. I'm guessing it's going to be about the same build, but as you said, Maru is a player that's known to shake these kind of things up. Even though this setup right now looks exactly identical, it could go many different ways.
Well, he does get the scout in here early. I can't remember in the last game if he actually scouted and knew that the proxy was coming.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did, yeah. And so, you know, knowing really is half the battle. G.I. Joe was right about that.
Oh, okay.
But this is cool. This is an eBay. Now, it's a proxied barracks and an eBay here. So that's going to force the Nexus up here. So the Protoss isn't denied more income, but he is expanding into an uncomfortable spot, and there it is.
Yeah, the bunker goes down yet again here at that third base for Nightmare. Reaper almost out of the barracks, going to be moving across the map now, and we do have a Zealot here for Nightmare, but the thing about the Zealot is it's not really able to catch up to anything besides that SCV. So if Nightmare controls this perfectly, he might be able to stop that bunker from getting up, and yeah, it looks like Maru took a little bit too much damage there with the SCV, so
yeah,
will get denied.
He wasn't able to finish that in time, but the Zealot can't do anything to keep these probes alive. I mean, the Reaper just doesn't have to respect the Zealot at all. The Stalker is going to come out, that will chase the Reaper away. But look, I got to say, this is a much better start, a much better early game here for Maru.
Yeah, it's a little...
I'm sorry, for Nightmares.
Oh, compared to last game.
Yeah, compared to the last game, yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you, though, that this does feel like a better position for Maru overall. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but, you know, it's such an awkward spot to be in as Protoss with that third base, you know, or with your natural expansion, I should say, taken so far forward.
Yeah.
You got to make this Zealot. You've already lost. I mean, this is the third probe, I think, that's gone down already. And with two Reapers on the map and a Widowmine in production, I think Nightmare is going to try and poke up this ramp here with the Stalker and the Zealot. But, you know, these units individually, they don't pack a lot of punch, but the three of them together, they can actually take on this Stalker.
Yeah, not bad taking that one Stalker out. The Zealot and the other Stalker are going to continue to come up here. And try to put it. Okay, now hold on. Did he see that Widow Mine?
He should be able to see it.
Yeah, he should have noticed that. So that means he's going to back up. Nicely done. And you know, Terran's going to be finishing their command center soon, but I got to say, this is a lot more of a close match, and one that I think it's definitely possible that Nightmare could come out here victorious long term.
Oh, absolutely. Last game, it almost felt like he was written off right from the beginning, but just losing all these probes hurts so much, and this is part of the awkwardness of, you know, spreading yourself so thin. Going for that forward expansion there because of the eBay block opens up these opportunities for Maru to come in with these Reapers and try to pick off probes. I think it might be maybe 4 that have gone down already. And that's like 10% of Nightmare's economy. That's a sizable amount.
It's a lot. And we might see a lot of probes get killed up here. There's going to be a drop. I think this has basically gone totally undetected. And drops like this, I mean, you basically have to be ready to move like the second this comes in, or you're going to take incredible damage. And we do see some Micron on the map, so Nightmare,
oh, no.
He's not, well, he notices maybe it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, reacts just in the nick of time. As if he noticed that a fraction of a second later, it would have been a disastrous situation for him, but we'll be able to clean up one of these Widow Mines. One will escape with that medevac, and at the end of the day, it's just one probe and a bit of idle time here for Nightmare, but you know, Maru, I think he's happy about that. He knows these Stalkers are back at home. He has a bit of a better idea of exactly where Nightmare is at. And anytime you could force idle time like this and pick off additional workers, especially after you picked off so many already early in the game,
yeah,
you're feeling pretty good as a Terran.
This is one of those maps where you have this huge empty area in the bottom left, so you can park the medevac there. And that's basically there forever unless you get something that can get over there and actually kill that. Back at home for Terran, we've got a lot more barracks finishing up. We've got a lot more infantry being cranked out. A Dark Shrine starts for the Protoss as Blink is about to finish.
And Blink Stalkers into a third base with the Dark Shrine here for Nightmare as these Stalkers just going to poke and prod a little bit. At Maru's natural expansion. And Charge started straight away, so Nightmare really going to lean heavily into this gateway style. And yeah, there's the Forge. I was wondering when we were going to see that here. To couple along with these Stalkers and Zealots that he's going for. Man, you weren't kidding about this airspace. That's
pretty massive,
excessive.
man. There's a lot of room back there. And so things have quieted down a little bit. Protoss is taking that third base, which is normal. You know, we did see Maru pretty interested in kind of closing it with a 2-base push. And I'm sorry, there's not been another command center made.
No, I don't
right?
think so. Looking
Okay.
at the mini-map, it seems like it's just going to be 2-base play right now here for
we're
Maru.
casting this in a different setting, and the monitor, the lights in here are very bright. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. But yeah, I don't think I saw a CC made, which means that he has to push or make a CC later on, and I think that push is actually going to come right now. Let's not forget that this base that was forced to be taken early on is in a pretty accessible location for the Terran to hit.
Yep, Dark Shrine is completed now for Nightmare, but keep in mind that Maru does have that Raven here with this army, although it is a little bit far forward. If Nightmare's, you know, gets the jump on that Raven a little bit later here in this engagement, there's an opportunity to snipe that down and try to force some more scans. Maru already spending 1 scan here at what is now the third base for Nightmare, and Maru's going to push up. Well, it's actually just going to be a straight Archon. He doesn't think he can get the Raven.
Yeah, he's not confident with that move. This is very well placed, by the way. I like the Stalkers to intercept over here, but I am worried that this Nexus just isn't going to last. The shields are already gone. There's not enough movement here to kind of come in here and protect this. I don't know if he can get that critical mass, that number of units up to try to take this. Well, hold on a second.
Oh!
This is actually a really good position here from Nightmare.
Oh, big move right there for Nightmare as that medevac barely gets away with both siege tanks and finally does get sniped as Maru with, you know, a rare blunder right there kind of gets pulled apart a little bit as Nightmare, you know, those 3 Stalkers were just kind of linchpinning his defense by preventing all of these reinforcements from Maru from coming in and joining with a main force outside that third base. And when Maru, he tried to dispatch that force, suddenly Nightmare just jumps on that front position. He had the Charge Zealots, he had the Blink Stalker, picks off a lot of key units, and it went from what felt like a very precarious position to Nightmare to one that is absolutely playable very quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be a very slippery game now for Maru. You know, I was really in agreement with what you were saying, State, that like those 3 Stalkers killed off so many reinforcements and tripped up Maru so much that when he tried to pull back, losing the medevac with the 2 tanks is huge. Now that being said, Maru is not wavering. He's going to commit even further over here. He is getting a 3rd command center as well, so he's not all in. Development can continue onward as normal.
Those are big Widow Mine hits, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, with as good as that early engagement was there for Nightmare, his army is, you know, not very adept at dealing with this large bio ball with Widow Mines and medevacs that Maru has. I mean, Maru could just kind of kite this here into oblivion. You see right now Nightmare trying to go for at least a little bit of sentries for Guardian Shield and Force Field to try and mitigate the damage and perhaps allow those Zealots to connect here with this bio, but it's such a difficult position here for Nightmare, and it looks like Colossus is going to be the splash damage of choice, but it almost feels like he needed that yesterday. This is tough.
Okay, this is some very good kiting. The mines are ready, and the shots are going to connect very nicely, but I got to say, well, man, that's actually a lot.
So many mines.
Well, man, that is actually a lot, dude. Now, infantry armor is done, so he's going to be a little bit more tough in this fight. He is going to thin out some of these Zealots.
Yeah, and you can see Nightmare just trying to throw a couple of Zealots in there to add some, you know, dispatch some of the Widow Mines, their splash damage coming in, and actually hold that thought as Nightmare now, once that Colossus pops, is going to take that opportunity to push in. And he is able to clean up a good number of the Widow Mines, but still, that army there for Nightmare is looking mighty weak.
Yeah, you know, we've seen this with Maru before, this tug of war, you know, just outside the Protoss's base, that sometimes these fights go on for like 5 minutes straight. And it just, eventually you start to see, even though it looks like it's been close, the Terran is actually like 50 supply ahead or something like that. We want to watch these Colossi as well. If he can get enough Colossi in numbers, he can trade out with the splash very nicely. But as I say that, one already goes down.
Yeah, and those Widow Mines also hit the Stalkers too, so only 3 Stalkers remaining here for Nightmare as another Colossus gets disabled, and Maru just stimming a win right here, kiting forward with complete confidence is going to clean up much of Nightmare's army.
Yeah, and I mean, almost feels like a bit of an overextension, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I think this is probably the beginning of the end. Maru, too good, man.
Yeah. These GTs are going to try and save the day, but I mean, that's just putting a clock on your defeat right here as Maru just continuing to push into this third base. It will eventually fall. Maybe with a Hail Mary disruptor shot. I mean, he's only able to get that one Widow Mine. I think we're going to see GG any second now, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is looking to be over. Nightmare did put up a very good fight, but, you know, Maru's he's actually wiggling his medevacs now. He's just too good, man. Just too good. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, Nightmare just kind of digesting this loss a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, just processing it. Obviously, it's not over. This is the group phase, so he'll be in the losers match. But Maru, with a very, very impressive showing, just comes out dominant. The Robo is now unpowered. He can't make any more disruptors or Colossi or anything else from that.
He just wants one nice disruptor shot to end the series on a high note, but Maru's not going to give it to him. And that's going to be GG as Maru takes the series 2-0.
Wow. He's so good. By the way, very cool to see this sort of early bunker style come out.
Yeah.
And to see it not work at all in game 2, and then Maru's like, no, this is fine. Watch this.
You know, the bunker specifically didn't get too much done, but the engineering bay block and then forcing Nightmare to go for a Nexus on that third base actually opened up so much room for Maru to find damage with those Reapers. I think even before the Widow Mine drop came in, he picked off 3 or 4 probes early, which is a big deal when you're trying to, you know, get up on that 2-base economy, because if you're not able to really get the ball rolling there as Protoss, you're never going to get the army that you need to actually stop a push like that dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
And so instead it just leads to the same situation that we've seen Maru in time and time again, where he'll just kind of hunker down outside of the natural, outside of the third base, and he won't leave. And you have to keep fighting into him. The Widow Mine shots come in, he kites back. And it's just a slow death there for Protoss, and, you know, Maru kind of putting on a TVP clinic here to start off GSL.
I mean, the way that Terran is designed, they sort of have that ability to both sustain and kind of just pull more and more damage over time. Anyways, actually, we're going to go to a break right now. We'll be right back with our second best of 3.
I have been up, I have been down, all around and in between. I have been brave, I have been bruised while questioning everything. Many nights tossed and turned, hearing all the voices scream so loud. I've been in, I've been out, shouldering a heavy load. I've been tough, I've been torn, restless in my soul. Morning light, please shine through, it always makes me whole. Shine down. There ain't nothing in the world that can stop me now. I will trust the voice within, reaching higher ground. There ain't nothing in the world that can stop me now. Fearless, 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 fearless. I'm stepped up, then back down, too afraid to see the light. I've had joy, I've had pain on this roller coaster ride. Many days losing faith, knowing there is more to life. Be proud. Rise on up, take a stand, break away from every hold. Don't turn back, look ahead, watch the dream unfold. Morning light, please shine through, it always makes me whole. Shine down. The time has come to wipe away the tears. The time has come to conquer all my fears. The time has come to trust what I believe. The time has come to take a chance on me. There ain't nothing in the world that can stop me now. I will trust the voice within, reaching higher ground. There ain't nothing in the world that can stop me now. Fearless, 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 fearless. There ain't nothing in the world that can stop me now. 너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
드디어 카운트다운을 시작합니다.
4, 3, 2, 1.
떴다. 제로 칼로리로 기분까지 가볍게. 밀키스 제로.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
Today's matchup. Maru, Nightmare, ByuN, DRG.
Who's that guy they're making in the intro? You see that? There's like an android they're building. They're like making a Terminator or something. I'm not sure.
Is it AlphaGo? Is that like the,
yeah,
is
like,
that gonna be the human form of the
like, is that
ultimate
going
StarCraft gamer?
Play StarCraft or kill me? Anyways, welcome back, guys. Good to have GSL back, by the way. Look, I mean, Maru totally smashed Nightmare. Nightmare got totally dumpstered in Game 1. Game 2 was a little bit better, but Maru won in like the classic Terran push, overpowering the Protoss, picking off the Colossi, the Archons. There was never, enough complexity on the Protoss side of things to really dish out that splash damage. I'm amazed at how much I look when we get a graphic on here. It's like I lay on the table like to read it, and then sometimes they put me back on the camera and I go, okay, we're gonna get the spine back up.
Yeah, still getting into the swing of things, getting used to it. The new format here at GSL.
It's a little bit faster than what I'm used to. Now here's ByuN. I gotta say, very minimalist room. We're gonna judge each of the rooms.
I like it. It's kind of, it is interesting. It's like it's a fascinating glimpse into the lives of all of the players here playing in GSL.
Yeah. We had the Maru with his shrine in the background. We had Nightmare kind of looked like he was I guess like in the closet. They had like all these like jackets hanging behind him. Here we have a very neat kitchen for ByuN.
I was gonna say that's my bedroom too, man. It's like I don't have like any like nice big closet. Like there's just like my bed and next to it's just nothing but clothes.
Yeah, that's what my bedroom's like out here. I mean, everybody lives in these small apartments out here too.
Yeah.
But
I like
ByuN,
that.
I'm looking
nice
at this
apartment.
I'm looking at this kitchen and I'm saying, what's ByuN gonna cook up in this game? Huh? What's he gonna do there?
We'll see. Got a little bit of a glimpse here of his 2022 GSL performance. A lot of round of 6, round of 8 in GSL Super Tournament as well. As DRG just kind of been a linchpin. I think, it's odd coming in here to Group A because, ByuN and Maru, they're obviously the clear favorites to advance from this group.
Right.
I think most people would write DRG off, but this is a guy that's, made it past the quarterfinals 3 GSLs in a row. That's an entire year of GSLs that he was getting top 6.
No, he's looked really good. If you guys are just now tuning in, you should have definitely watched the interview they did with all the players at the start. I was almost getting choked up, and I'm like, I actually have to talk on camera.
Yeah.
I gotta pull it together here. The show's open, so I'm just crying. I'm like, oh, I'm trying so hard.
Not emotionally prepared to actually launch the broadcast.
Yeah, exactly. But if you get a chance to look at it, it's all the players talking about, they've been doing GSL their whole life, and maybe this is the last year they really want to each of these players really wants to come through with a win here. And DRG is somebody who's been close many times before.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of skepticism, or at least a lot that I came across online, of people, wondering, is the competition at GSL really going to be that fierce now that, the prize pool's been reduced, that we've had to scale back things a little bit?
Right.
But, you hear those players talk, and it feels like they want to win more than ever. They want to come up. A lot of them realize now that this might be one of their last opportunities to really, give it their all.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's getting even more competitive as we're getting ready to go into ByuN versus DRG here.
Let's do this, guys. The next best of 3 continues on here. ByuN, DRG duking it out in Group A. Day 1 here of the first season back here at the GSL. Excuse me. I was casting ASL last night. This is always a dangerous thing when I'm doing both these tournaments at the same time, and I try to do my cool broadcaster outro thing, and I mess it up.
It happens.
Shopify Rebellion. ByuN.
That's the Android!
That's the Android? Oh, my God. I don't like this at all.
We didn't notice this because we didn't have game sound at the start of the first series.
Yeah, we didn't hear this. Well, let's listen again. All right.
Club Envy. DRG.
Oh, I don't like this. This is
these
really
chatbots
scary.
These chatbots have gone too far tasteless.
Is that what it sounds like if ChatGPT can talk? Oh, no.
Oh.
So this game, we have Barracks put out near the entrance. And and he's got another SCV here. Is he going to make 2 barrackses? So this is a fun way to play from ByuN. The idea is you have the opportunity to aggress and push and rush, but if things backfire, you've already made a wall in, and so you can expand right away.
Yeah, I like this opening here from ByuN. Good way to exert some early pressure, set up a nice defensive wall in here at the natural expansion as well to prep for that CC, and we'll see what he's able to get done. I'm not super familiar with the scouting patterns on this map for Zerg. I don't know whether ByuN's going to be able to pick off any overlords, for instance, with a play like this.
Mm-hmm.
But there is potential to find damage here.
Yeah, it's a very ByuN opening. We should note that this is a very long distance to travel on this map. So we'll see what he can actually get done. But he's got 2 Reapers on the way, one about to pop out here. DRG, I mean, everything's very normal for DRG right now. There's nothing crazy that he's going to do. So we'll see how much damage these Reapers can actually get. Remember that if you make a bunch of Reapers at the start of a game, you have not made a bunch of Marines. And
True.
Marines do have more value and more utility in an actual long game where Reapers rapidly become the most obsolete unit in the game as time passes.
Yeah, they kind of have that early role of exerting pressure, forcing some Lings out from the Zerg, and then after that you can pair them with Hellions, and then after that you're basically just, throwing them to the side. There's not much more to be found, but it's forcing a lot of Lings out from DRG already. He actually still has even more in production as he's waiting for these Queens to pop.
Yeah, the Queens are the real defense against the Reapers. So I think he only made 2 or 3. Okay, that's the 3rd one. But now he's back to making Marines. He is expanding again. It's an opener. Didn't do that much, but it's not bad either. You can deny the Zerg from expanding, but in this case, ByuN didn't. He opted to go up instead of down on the map. And so that hatchery is going to get set up for free, basically.
Yeah, but, as a little consolation prize, he's able to find a nice bit of damage here on the natural expansion Queen. So there's potential for him to snowball a little bit. And, oh, look at this, Tasteless. Already a 3rd command center going down for ByuN back at home.
Yeah, this is very cool to see. But DRG still on. I'm sorry, did he actually scout this hatchery down here? He may be under the impression that he's kept DRG on 2 bases when he hasn't.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I don't think he has confirmation on it because the Reapers certainly never went down to that 3rd base location. And if he saw that drone, he would have killed it. Huh. I mean, it's possible that he just knows that, by trying to go into the main base like that there's potentially going to be a 3rd base going down, but you're right. He might just be in the dark about that 3rd hatchery.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you still can't have drones there until a Queen is made at that 3rd hatch, right? So it's not exactly safe, but it's like he's expanded right under his nose. So Stim is coming now, and things are going to develop pretty normally here. And he's going to come down now and see that the creep's there. So he knows no matter what, this is here. Can he try to kill any drones? In fact, he just decides to loop back around and keep these Reapers around for as long as possible.
Yeah, Zergling speed, I think, is done now. So these Reapers are going to try and do their best to survive. Don't want to be diving too deep on a creep. Just try to keep the creep spread under control as we see DRG with a healthy queen count. Adding 2 more into the mix. It's going to try and spread this creep through the center of the map. One tumor denied there by ByuN. And I'm curious to see exactly what setup ByuN is going to go for here, because, you know, I feel like there was this couple week period that we were casting GSL. Maybe it was in season 2 of last year where every Terran was going for this fast 3rd CC.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Or a fast 2 CC into like an all-in kind of thing.
Yeah, there was like, I think a quick CC into 2-base all-in, yeah.
Yeah, and so I wonder with this 3rd CC if we're just going to see some really heavy aggression on 3 bases here, or what the play is going to be, because so far there isn't too much nuance to this army that ByuN is building. It's just pure bio. The first medevacs are coming out. There's 1 Raven. No siege tanks, no Hellions.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just been the Zerg on the receiving end this entire time, but I like the idea of what ByuN's doing here. This sets up very nicely. He's going to push, and this is something I feel like I see with ByuN very, very often, and I'm just going to say it again. Okay, never mind. He does have 2 medevacs. I was going to say, if he doesn't have enough medevacs with this, if you mess up in a fight and don't have medevacs, I mean, you just lose everything. Like, it's a very unforgiving situation. Now, that being said, this is more than what can fit in those 2 medevacs. So let's see how exactly ByuN approaches this.
One's going to push up, ramp over here in the triangle 3rd base. Going to try and stim in and pick off some of these queens. Transfuses are coming down. He might just have enough to power through this. There were not enough lings here for DRG. You can see him scrambling, pumping 26 more right now, and the Baneling Nest is done. But will he even find time to be able to morph in Banelings before more damage comes in?
Did he just kill him?
That's
I mean, this is like so much
damage.
damage, and he's picked up just enough queens. I don't feel like the Zerg has enough to actually sustain here. I don't see Banelings be... Yeah, that's it. All right.
What an insane push.
That was wild.
You know, I saw that coming in, and for whatever reason, it just didn't click in my head that ByuN just actually had enough to push up like that. I mean, especially with the 3rd command center, as well as he just pumps out all those Marines, he gets those 2 medevacs, he moves across the map in a 1 fell swoop. DRG just kind of caught with his pants down. He had the Baneling Nest, but no Banelings.
Not even caught with his pants down. It's like he didn't own any pants, and he was caught. Like, no pants in the house.
It's one of those It's one of those nightmares, man. He's wandering around in his underwear, and everybody's pointing and making fun of him.
I'm just in school failing a test, and I don't have any pants. I'm like, ah! Like,
yeah, what a clean build there by ByuN. I mean, DRG tried to cut some corners, and ByuN was just having none of it.
It was it was one of those moments where, like, the fight starts, you're like, okay, all right, this is over. Yeah, DRG not prepared. Clearly wasn't ready for that attack to come in there the way that it did. You lose too many queens, and things basically totally fall apart. The queens are the only beefy unit that Zerg has at that phase of the game. You need to have Zerglings in front of it to try to deal that damage. So we're already 1-0. DRG never really got to show us what he wanted to do in that game. But now we're going to go to Royal Blood.
I see that look you're giving me. Yeah, this is a fun map name. I like it. I like the map pool that we have this season a lot, actually. I've been a fan of it.
Very important person's blood. Their lineage, it's so important.
Wait until you see all the treasure they've stashed around this map, man. There's gold coins everywhere.
That's great. We're actually going to start this game, guys. This is game 2. It's best of 3. Continuing on. Yeah, the wood on this map. Hold on, let's get the creepy voice in there.
Shopify Rebellion. ByuN.
If I was like in my bed trying to sleep and I heard that voice, I would run out of my house. It sounds like a robot critter, gremlin monster.
Yeah, there's some dark vibes going on. We had that like death android being constructed there, and like the opening sequence of GSL, and behind us is like all these chains.
Is that Jigsaw from Saw?
This is the 20.
How much do you want to live?
2023 version of Jigsaw.
Oh, whoa.
Hold that thought, actually. Proxy hatchery here. 14 hatch coming out of DRG at what would be the 3rd base for ByuN. This is not what I was expecting here from Dongregu here in the second game.
Yeah. This is wild. It's going to be the same starting point for ByuN. He's going to have the 2 barracks up in the front. Now, obviously, a wall in at your natural, it's convenient because it protects your command center when you're making it, and if you overextend, it's not the end of the world. But this may actually be a weakness if there's a proxy hatchery here, because all of your infrastructure is sticking out at that natural. And this is going to be an extremely short travel time.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned here for ByuN. This is going to be a difficult position for him to defend because, as you said, all of the critical infrastructure here for the Terran, it's going to be at that natural base. And, you know, with the Roaches coming out, Roach Warren underway, you got to think that DRG, he's going to pounce on this position. And then what are you going to do if you're ByuN? You're going to have to lift your barracks back up into the main base and lose 30 seconds of valuable production time trying to hold on?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Now, if this doesn't work for DRG, he's in a very inconvenient position.
Oh, he's totally all in with this.
There's no like, well, I'll just play a macro game if this doesn't work out. So the Reaper's going to come out. Now, the question we got to see from ByuN's perspective is, when does he figure out that he's getting cheesed?
Just a second here as he sees the natural expansion with no hatchery. Yeah, that Reaper just immediately going home. So ByuN does have a good idea of what's up. Second Reaper will
Can he
confirm.
get a bunker up in time here?
Oh, he's going to try and hold the natural. Okay.
He's going to put a bunker in the front. Wow. Okay, that makes sense. For a second, I thought, oh, that tech lab's going to be, you know, the bunker's going to be behind that, but I see instead he wants to try to get up here in front of this.
Yeah, the scary thing is, though, if DRG just moves in on this position straight away as he is right now, there's no way this bunker's actually going to get up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even with, you can pull all the SCVs you want, I don't think that bunker's going to make it.
I think he can actually just kill the bunker, yeah, before it even finishes. He's pulled SCVs. He's going to try to start another bunker. If the bunker or bunkers even can get up, he's going to be okay. He's making a Marauder, and the Marauder's a realistic answer to the Roaches, where the SCVs are really not. There are Ravagers coming here as well.
Yep, Marauder with concussive shells soon to be researched here as one Roach goes down. Going to try and take out this cocoon before it pops. It has so much armor. Is he going to get it? He does.
Gets it. He gets it.
He
That's
does get
crazy.
it. And that's going to be the bunker getting up right there. So
But he's
ByuN,
going to have enough Ravagers. I think he just blows the bunker up, right?
he should slowly be able to whittle away at this with four Ravagers. The question is, I mean, ByuN, he's so mineral starved right now. He's still building that command center on the low ground, keep in mind. So that's 400 minerals that he doesn't have to repair, that he doesn't have to make more units. Finally does cancel that CC, and I think he realizes that he needs those minerals to actually hold on here.
This is really about, you know, trying to fix this now. And you can see, once you get enough Ravagers, the bunker is just going to take so much damage. Once the cooldown's done, he can do that one more time, and he's probably going to be done with him. Now, I think that there might have been an overextension here from DRG. I think he didn't appreciate that the bunker can just empty and he could bum rush this.
Yeah, DRG with some big losses right there. Concussive shells are so punishing when you overextend, especially off creep. Right here for a DRG is, you know, it can kind of feel the pendulum swinging back in the other way. Is ByuN with a little bit of momentum right now. If he's able to hold on, I think that's just going to be it.
Well, I mean, if he can actually get on top of this hatchery and kill it, I think you're right. I think that's it. Now, the command center was canceled, by the way, guys. So, I mean, you know, it's not like there's a bunch of resources coming in, but, I mean, half of the production is literally this hatchery that's over here just outside of this position. The bunker's not been killed, and I think that it's going to be tough because if he comes too far in like this, I think he can just pick off all these weaker Ravagers. And I think the bunker at this point in time doesn't even really actually matter because there's just so much that he can do with this. Yeah, I think that actually ByuN might just win this here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's so much micro potential here with these Marauders, and of course, just overpowering the Ravagers and the Roaches. And ByuN with a nice defense, they're going to win that one 2-0.
Yo, good call to cancel that bunker. Or cancel the command center. Yeah, sorry. That was very cool. All right, ByuN wins.
Wow, that was a fast series.
Yeah, really
so quick. We were talking on break about how this might be one of the longer series that we have today.
TDZ has normally been the longest matchup, at least in modern StarCraft 2. Well, ByuN cleans house there. That means we're going to have ByuN versus Maru coming up next.
Yeah, and I was really worried about ByuN's position right there with the low ground, you know, the low ground infrastructure, the two barracks and the supply depot, and additionally the command center all going down right there. But, I mean, he just knew exactly how to thread the needle and survive for as long as he needed to do to get concussive shells done, to get a couple of Marauders out. And from there, I mean, DRG just trying to micro off creep, that's not going to happen against Marauders.
No, not going to happen. It was this funny moment. He got like a little bit too confident with the bunker, and once the bunker unloaded, and especially when concussive shell finishes, you can just start to really slow down those Ravagers. They can't micro away. And if you lose that hatchery, I mean, it's a Zergon 1 hatch, and the Terran throws a command center up. There's no way to recover from that. But smart move there to make that bunker on the outside. In my head, for some reason, I was thinking he was going to make it behind, but you got to protect the 2 barracks because that's the only thing that's going to be producing stuff that's going to actually keep you alive.
It also forced DRG to kind of overextend to try and bile that down. You would notice every time he would move into range to bile the bunker, he'd be losing a Roach or he'd be losing a Ravager. And after about a minute, I mean, just too much. And guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we get back, more GSL Code S.
Inside of your love, the spaces 너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
드디어 카운트다운을 시작합니다.
4, 3, 2, 1.
떴다. 제로 칼로리로 기분까지 가볍게. 밀키스 제로.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
집에서 병원 다니면서 온라인 대회만 했던 것 같아요.
주간 대회 있는 거, 뭐 온라인 대회 있는 거 그냥 참가하면서 연습하면서 그냥 GSL만 기다리고 있었죠.
항상 똑같아요. 그래도 비시즌이다 보니까 운동을 좀 많이는 아니지만 꾸준히 한 것 같아요.
저는 고양이를 2마리 키워가지고 고양이랑 놀아주거나 뭐 그런 식으로 지내고 있어요.
뭐 신영이 형이 뚫은 거겠죠. 근데 대엽이 형은 열심히 한 것 같은데 신영이 형은 아예 안 했는데 어떻게 이겼는지 모르겠어요. 신영이 형이 확실히 재능이 있어요.
한규석 게임을 잘 안 하거든요. 근데 예선을 뚫더라고요.
한규석한테 한마디 해주세요.
이왕 뚫었으면 나한테 좀 붙지. 다른 조 가가지고 16강에서 장렬히 전사하겠지만 좋은 게임 해라.
일단은 신인호 선수 탈락. 이게 좀 많이 충격적이었어요. 신인호 선수가 요즘 되게 잘해요. 온라인에서 잘하고 탈락할 거라는 걸 전혀 예상 못했고 또 그 상대가 이신영 선수라는 건 좀 많이 충격받은 것 같아요.
희범이 형이 이번에 떨어져가지고 놀랐어요, 많이. 원래 엄청 잘하는 선수인데 놀랐던 것 같아요.
뭐 성적 올리고 이제 나머지 3명에서 누가 한 자리 차지하냐 그 싸움이겠지 뭐. 뭐 3명 다 비슷한 생각 아닐까요? 그냥 다 또이또이하다. 왜 이기고 지고 할 만한 수준들이다 이러면서. 경기 자체가 좀 어려운 것 같아요. 요즘 저그들한테 까다로운 부분도 많고 테란들 원래 셌었는데 이제 메카닉까지 좋아져가지고 여러모로 힘든 것 같아요. 저거.
항상 저는 성주 형이 맨날 있었어가지고 성주 형까지는 상관이 없었는데 변현우 선수도 있더라고요. 투테란조에 걸려가지고 조금 기분은 좋지 않은 것 같아요. 빌드 같은 거는 최대한 준비할 수 있으면 하는데 각오 좀 하셔야 될 것 같기도 하고.
다른 조에 비해서는 힘든 것 같은데 그래도 뭐 올라갈 사람 올라가겠죠. 사실 안 만나고 올라가고 싶은데 현우 형이랑 대회 때 하면 화가 좀 나거든요. 그래서 걱정이 되네요.
그냥 반반인 것 같아요. 성주를 너무 많이 만나는 것 같아서 첫 경기부터 만나는 건 아니니까 좋게 생각하고 있어요. 요즘 저그전 승률도 괜찮게 하고 소호형 상대로는 제가 좀 편해하는 스타일이라서 어느 정도 긍정적인 효과를 내지 않을까 생각해요. 그래도 평소에 16강 대진보다는 확실히 나은 것 같아요. 이번 조가.
GSL도 있고 사우디 대회도 있으니까 우승 꼭 하겠습니다.
전역하고 나서 게임 한다고 했는데 아직까지 스스로 그냥 우승 트로피도 못 들어보고 미적지근한 성적을 내고 있었다고 생각했는데 이번 연도 그래도 마지막 힘을 쥐어 짜내서 게이머 커리어 잘 마무리할 수 있도록 열심히 해보겠습니다.
요새는 시즌 업만 뚫었는데 애틀란타 때도 좋은 모습 보여드렸는데 그때처럼 높이 올라가서 재밌는 경기 많이 보여드리겠습니다.
작년이랑 똑같이 찍으시면 될 것 같아요. 저도 스타투 있을 때까지는 절대 은퇴 안 할 테니까 많이 응원해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 파이팅!
Today's matchup. Maru. Nightmare. ByuN. DRG.
And we're back and ready now to go into the winners match here in Group A, day one of the GSL. It is going to be a Terran versus Terran, Maru versus ByuN.
Yeah, it should be a good one, too. Maru and ByuN, they mentioned in their interview they've been playing against each other a lot in recent tournaments, and usually they're very competitive matches. It's not the kind of thing that I would expect, a 2-0 in a best of 3 or a 3-0 in a best of 5. It should be fierce.
Yeah, Maru obviously has been playing very, very well, almost winning IEM in Katowice. It was so crazy to see that upset actually go down because I was so confident he was not going to lose, even a single game then. But no doubt he's revamped his TVT. He's probably fixed whatever issues he thought he had. But I think it is important to note that ByuN is very, very viable. By the way, I'm sorry, they told me to promote something. I think we're promoting you guys donating. Thank you so much. I know some big donations have already come in. 100% of the donations go to the prize pool for the pros.
Yeah, which I think is a really good thing that Africa TV is doing right now.
Well, this is the way it has to be done now.
Right.
We don't have the same kind of support from before.
Yeah, so if you guys want to support the players, if you want to support the GSL, it's one of the best ways to do it, not only to tune in, but to contribute, whether it be on, I think, Balloons with Africa TV.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I think it says already at the bottom of the screen, for the best viewing experience, go to that URL. It's on the Africa TV site. I think if you're watching on YouTube, it's like a picture in a picture or something like that.
A little box.
And so you're probably home going, no, shaking your fist. But if you go to that link, that box is not there.
Right.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, it's good to be back here with GSL. Obviously, we've had to downsize, but the reality is the games are still the same. The games have been great. And
the players are as good as ever. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just going to have good games from here on out. If anything, it's going to be even more competitive than last year because, we're starting here with a round of 16 already.
Yeah.
The winner from this winner's match is going to the round of 8. So
very quickly, things are going to start to speed up. And although we don't have studio audiences now, so unfortunately we even had some people come by the studio today. We had to tell them there's nothing you can even sit and watch in right now.
Right.
The players are playing from home. We're casting from a different part of the studio as well. On the final day, you can come. So if you're going to be here, check the schedule. You do have to pay to get in, but, I mean, it'd be worth it. It'd be fun. We're going to be casting it. It's going to be hype.
Yeah, it'll be a really exciting finals day, too, because it should have both the semifinals and the finals there all at once.
Yeah.
So it should be an action-packed day. And excited to get into this winners match, Tasteless.
Why are we not in this winners match already? What's going on here? We were going so fast, and now it's like, whoa, pump the brakes. But, I do think Maru is probably a shoo-in for this one. If ByuN wins, that would be so crazy hype. I'm also looking forward to our PVZ that's going to be in the losers match here.
That should be a good one, too.
Yeah.
Nightmare, he went through some tough Zerg opponents on his path into qualifying for the GSL Code S, and I think a lot of people perhaps didn't expect him to make it, as people were saying, even in the interviews, that, Ragnarok got eliminated trying to qualify for GSL this season. And somebody got second place in the GSL last year is not even making top 16. As, a quick look here at the upcoming matches. Of course, we just had Maru versus Nightmare and ByuN versus GRG with some quick 2-0s. And upcoming will be Maru versus ByuN and Nightmare versus DRG. I think anyone can take that elimination match.
I think so. I feel like DRG, I don't have a real handle on where he's at. His games have been kind of weird. Like he had the one where he just died to the push. And then he had the one where his cheese failed. So I don't know exactly where he's at. Nightmare did look good. He had some cool ideas at play here. But yeah, I mean, for this TVT, Maru, I think may still just be the favorite for this entire tournament.
I think he's the favorite
so many times before.
I think he's the favorite in pretty much any tournament that he enters. If we had another IAM like Katowice upcoming right now, I would still say he's the favorite. Like, it's not the reigning world champ. It's Maru. He's, in my opinion, just the best player in the world right now.
I'm really excited to see who's going to have the messiest room in GSL as well. Where we just go, oh my gosh, look at how he lives. All right, guys, we're going to go into game one and see who's going to win this best of 3 to come out and move on to the next round of the GSL Code S.
Onside Gaming, Maru.
This is the regular GSL voice announcer with a robot modifier.
Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
Yeah, I can hear him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, yeah, let's see what happens here. TVT, in the old days, and especially with the the ASL that I've been casting alongside with this, it's historically a very long matchup, but it does seem like in the last 2 years people have gotten very good at killing each other in TVT.
It feels so volatile now.
Yeah, well, I feel like the Terran army, one of the big features of a Terran army, if you're making bio, is the glass cannon feature of it. But when you have two glass cannons fighting each other, I mean, one starts to receive damage and it just spikes.
Yeah, you couple that with the mobility of having, say, 6 medevacs that can just doom drop a main base at any given moment, and in a blink of an eye, if you're out of position, then suddenly it's just game over, right?
Yeah, you just die outright. Now we have the first scouting SCV coming out. It is coming from Maru. Maru did take 2 gases, as did ByuN, by the way. So the builds are very much mirrored, although the scout is first here for Maru.
Yeah, effectively mirrored build so far, and it's kind of like PvP where you got to wait until the cybernetic score comes out.
Yeah,
and you got to see like where the Protoss is going to decide to take the game, what their opening strategy is going to be. And TvT is often, kind of the same way as we see. Even to this point, the factory timing completely identical. The only real divergence is that Maru wanted to scout and confirm this. ByuN playing a little bit more greedy.
Yeah, he's going to use the Reaper to scout, so that does put you ahead just slightly to have that extra Reaper, I'm sorry, the SCV there is what I meant to say, to mine and get a little bit more resources. So in some ways, ByuN's build is actually technically a little bit better, just because there's nothing coming from Maru, but when you do play blind like that, it can be very scary.
Yeah, and the end result of this is that ByuN is throwing down his command center like 4 or 5 seconds faster than Maru is. It's a very small differences. Even now, both players going for reactors on their barracks, popping out their first Hellion as we just continue to macro up. And I'm curious to see when the first divergence is going to be, as, I mean, we're almost 3 minutes in, and with the exception of the scout, which is admittedly very minor, it's completely identical.
Yeah, I mean, right now, there's no way to even say who's ahead or what's going to happen. They're doing the exact same move here. We have the second barracks now starting over here. For ByuN on this side of the map.
And a starport for Maru.
So
Maru also going for a Widow Mine, so.
Yeah, so 1-1-1 build here coming from Maru, where there's going to be a little bit more muscle on the ground here for ByuN. He is going to be pushing out. He's got 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. The Widow Mine and the 3 Reapers and Hellion should be fine. He basically parks the Hellion on top of the Widow Mine so that you can't see it. So when he comes in, ByuN might look at this and misread the situation, overextend, and let's see how this tactic actually plays out.
ByuN coming in there, does see the tracking beam on that Widow Mine, so he is aware. But, that Widow Mine, it's a good job, or it's doing a good job of anchoring this position. It's hard for ByuN really to push in, even though he does have slightly superior numbers. And with Cyclones underway, although, actually, hold that thought, Tasteless.
Two more Reapers. I kind of thought he was done with making Reapers, but I guess we did see that second barracks come down. But how do you deal with this with the mine here as well? It makes me wonder. Does he think he can maybe force something and kind of snowball the fight? A little bit more sophistication here for Maru and what he has on his side of the map.
And actually, this is a bit of a bad moment here for Maru, as ByuN's going to come in right when Maru goes for that drop. Maru, quick with his reactions, though, able to unload that medevac and actually hold on there at the natural. That could have been problematic.
Yeah, he's going to just come out here and try to chase this away. And, for now, we have another command center starting here. That's going to be the 3rd CC in the game. I didn't catch if ByuN had started his so far, but it does seem like whatever ByuN's trying really isn't working out that well. We mentioned this in a previous game, but it's worth reiterating here. Whenever you're making Reapers, you're not making Marines. Reapers don't have that much utility later on in the game, and it does seem like Maru has basically played a more straightforward approach and invested more into a longer game where ByuN was trying to find some kind of opportunity he could create, and maybe he's found that now here in the early game.
Yeah, actually coming into this natural, we'll be able to pick off a couple of SCVs. 3 go down, 4 in fact. The Reapers now are going to go into the main base, not only getting a full scout off, but they will see this Raven. Auto turret gets dropped, doesn't even kill a single Reaper. This is a ton of damage coming out of ByuN.
Yeah, a damaged Reaper still deals full damage, so to keep that many alive for that long is pretty huge. 8 kills is where we end that fight.
Wow.
But we got to ask ourselves, is Maru going to now have an opportunity to try to push out on the map? It seems like ByuN wants to grab these 2 medevacs so that if a push does come, ByuN would then be dealing even more damage into the main, which would keep Maru pinned.
And this medevac drop should be lining up right there with Stimpack as well. So there's even more potential here for ByuN to get big damage done. Maru going for a drop on his own. We'll be sending that medevac up to the north. And then coming in here, does see the low ground expansion here for ByuN, but the main thing I'm keeping my eyes on right now is this double medevac drop coming into Maru's main.
Yeah, this drop is going to be pretty big. He sees it now. He's committed. Now, Maru never actually pushed, so his army just has to go back up into the main, but there's going to be a lot more SCV kills here.
It's almost pure mech right here in the main base trying to defend against Stim Marines, which, although possible, is very difficult to do as we see 3 SCVs go down.
There is a drop coming up here towards the main. It looks like the refinery is going to be picked off here. I mean, this is a lot of damage that Maru is taking right now. We've got the drop starting here, but I mean, this has been so much damage. He's actually taking out both the gases, which is crazy. I feel like I never get to cast that in the TVT.
Cyclone locks onto the medevac, and we'll actually be able to pick it off right there with this scan as ByuN's going to clean this up at home. He does leave the main base there at Maru, but at the end of the day, even with that Widow Mine shot, he's up 20 supply.
I mean, if Maru can't come back right now, I think he's just going to lose this game. ByuN is so far ahead. He's already mining at his 3rd base.
Yeah, ByuN just kind of snowballing everything after that first Reaper run by went through the natural expansion. It's been pedal to the metal. Went for a low ground expansion, so played the greed game back at home, was able to defend the drop there from Maru without too much injury. Meanwhile, I mean, his drops have gotten so much done that it kind of feels like Maru's kind of hanging on by a thread right now. This push coming out from ByuN, if executed well, could just kill him.
Yeah, I mean, is this too much to push right now? I feel like, you know, he's ahead in so many ways. It feels a little bit too early to try to attack in, but I mean, if it works, it works. He's got a medevac ready to draw the attention away. The one Viking, I guess, is not going to shoot that medevac after all.
Well, the thing to keep in mind, though, is that, I mean, Maru, he is on 2 bases, so there's really only one obvious path forward, which is the natural if you're going to push there as ByuN. But Maru, he's afraid of these drops. You see him throwing down turrets in the main base. He has 2 out of his 4 siege tanks sieged in the main right now. Those are siege tanks that aren't here at the front. So it's kind of a difficult position for ByuN to push into, even though Maru is spread a little bit thin. And so for now, I think if you're ByuN, you know, you're already mining, as you said, from that low ground 3rd base back at home. Just establish a soft contain, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he's going to start to shell these refineries here. And, you know, Maru's really in a tough spot. I think the one way that Maru could win this game would be if ByuN begins to overextend, which we know that he has done that before. He's a very, very aggressive player. He likes to try to pick fights. Some fights that a lot of pros just wouldn't take, he'll actually try to come in there and he'll actually come out ahead. But, you know, the fact that Maru's just basically stayed back, he hasn't landed that 3rd command center yet. He's not really sitting on any kind of very exposed spot. The problem I see, though, is that there is a 4th base being taken. I mean, if that 4th base is up and Maru doesn't have any new bases, ByuN will have double the income, which is insane in any mirror matchup.
Yeah, and I'm wondering exactly how many units ByuN has back at home right now, because I think Maru is hinging a lot of his potential success on these 2 medevac drops coming in right now. You see him in his main base throwing down a lot of turrets. That's so he can focus most of his forces here on pushing out of the soft contain. Raven energy being used actually does get a siege tank there, so that's a nice win for Maru. And ByuN, he's going to be pulling his full forces ahead. So this drop from Maru has potential to get big damage done, but will he be able to defend back at home?
Yeah, this is kind of a funny moment. I guess he scans and realizes, oh god, there's a 4th base here, but ByuN has so much on the map right now. He is going to get the deny on that command center. But can Maru just get sandwiched here?
I think he might be. ByuN looks like he's angling for that attack. He's setting up to come in from 3 different angles here. This 3rd base is exposed. 4th command center coming down now for Maru. ByuN is, I mean, you could feel kind of the tension right now in this game as ByuN, he really wants to make a move and try and push onto this position. He wants to leverage that advantage that he got early game into a killing blow, but Maru's not really giving him a lot of room to go for that.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get this drop over here in the natural. I think he's finally found that soft spot here. We could end up with more gas. He's going to destroy it again in this game. Some of the infantry is going to be pulled out. And just off of the screenshot, we actually see what looks like another big push about to come up here, this time from the low ground onto the high ground here. There's just not that much to defend right now for Maru.
Armor shredding missile coming in on those Marines as Maru's coming in to reinforce, but a lot of his tank front line has been decimated. He will be able to push back ByuN for now, but this drop in the main base is getting so much damage done, Tasteless.
Damn, man, ByuN is coming through here. I don't know how much longer Maru can be in this game right now. Looks like he's going to try to attack this armory over here, denying that upgrade. And things are just getting worse and worse. This is just, I've lost count of how many refineries have been destroyed this game state.
Refineries just getting absolutely demolished here is Maru. I mean, to give him credit for how much damage he's taken, he's doing a very good job of staying in this game. The supply is only 24 apart.
Yeah. He's doing a bang-up job of not dying yet. I think Maru's going to try to come down here and flatten this position. And it looks like he is going to manage to do it. The last tank does fall. Just a few infantry left over there. But the supplies overall, Maru is definitely hurting in this game.
Yeah, ByuN just continuing to compound on that lead, and that Fort CC for ByuN now done being morphed into a planetary fortress back at home. Maru will be able to clean up a couple of these stray tanks, but the ball's still firmly in ByuN's core. I mean, he has so much momentum right now in this game. A 40 supply lead, up a full mining base, up ahead in workers, up ahead in army supply. There's really no part of this game that Maru has an advantage in. There's no saving grace.
Yeah, there's another drop coming in. I think, Maru can probably hold this one off, but it's not going to be without its own losses. He's going to drop again into the main. And there should be some kind of a positional weakness somewhere. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him try to push into that third base. This tank is so well set up. And here we go, another attack comes in here. All the SCVs are killed, and that's going to be it. ByuN slaughtering Maru. I am very, very impressed.
Yeah, that was a great game there from ByuN. I mean, coming in with those first Reapers, finding that soft spot in Maru's defense, going into the natural expansion, getting a ton of SCV kills, going into the main, getting even more. And then he was able to ride that momentum with follow-up drops, with a soft contain, by expanding back at home greedily while the pressure is there on Maru. And that is how you leverage just a small advantage like that Reaper run by into a win. You don't overextend, you just play your cards, and that's what ByuN did to perfection there.
Very cool to see. We're going to have to go into game 2 now and see can Maru tie this up 1-1. Or is ByuN actually going to go on first? I'm going to be honest. I thought Maru had this probably pretty easily. I was expecting a 2-0, maybe a 2-1. If ByuN can do that again, that's showing a lot of promise for this season.
Yeah, it's match point right now for ByuN. One more win will propel him into the round of 8. So there's a lot on the line right now for both of these players. And I was right there with you, coming into this one, thinking that Maru definitely favored coming in.
Yeah.
He beat ByuN in numerous online tournaments in the past couple of weeks leading up into this match, but it's never a stomping. It's never, a 2-0 or a 3-0 or a 4-0 with these guys. There's always back and forth, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Maru come back here in map number 2 and force a decider.
Yeah, it's weird because ByuN won that game, but I liked the way that Maru was playing a little bit better, but Maru did create an opening. Did lose those workers, and then ByuN never got off his back.
It felt like after that first Reaper run by, Maru was doing a fantastic job of actually, stabilizing back at home. It's just that, if you get against a player who's one of the best in the world like ByuN, it doesn't matter if you play perfectly when that advantage has been created. Right. They will be able to leverage that into a win.
Yeah, he sees that crack in your armor and just comes in there and starts wailing on you. We're going to go now into that game 2. If ByuN wins, he's the first survivor of the round of 16. If Maru takes it, we've got ourselves a series.
Onside Gaming, Maru.
Is that a little panda back there? A little raccoon? Stuffed animal?
Looks like a raccoon.
I think one of them was a Pokemon. I don't know my Pokemon that well. I'm actually a fake
Shopify
gamer.
Rebellion.
Wait, not even like the first generation Pokemon?
No. I somehow missed this. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I don't know most of the Pokemon, but I watched like the cartoon. I watched
Didn't really
the TV
watch the
show.
cartoon, but I know some of them. I know Mewtwo and I know Pikachu and
I don't know how many.
Jigglypuff.
I don't know how many generations of Pokemon we're on now, though. It's too
a
many.
lot. It's a lot. They're overpopulating the for sure. We don't
We're
need
gonna
that
need
many.
to call the Pokemon.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to start opening up seasons. Like
We're gonna have to start spaying them. And
you can like hunt deer like during like the summer months
That's
or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Have to do the same thing with Pokemon, man.
We're gonna have to change what's in the water and start killing them off.
This is one of my old man like yelling at clouds moments. Like, too many goddamn Pokemon nowadays. Can't handle it.
There's an SCV combing the map here for ByuN. It looks like he thought that there might be a proxy, but is he going to build something out here? No, I think it's just roaming.
No, I think he's just checking to see. I think both players, in fact, are just checking to see. Maru's SCV perhaps a little bit more suspicious, but
yeah. He's going to see Maru's actually making a beeline going to the south. There is a command center being taken right away here for Maru.
Yep. Maru is going for that fast CC. ByuN going for the orbital back at home, adding on a Reaper. And now throwing down the low ground command center as well. So mirrored builds, both players are kind of trying to get some scouting information. Perhaps this is something that's, I mean, it happens a lot when you have players that have a history, especially when they've been playing against each other a bunch in recent tournaments or practicing together online, where you might start metagaming your opponent more than you would in a normal best of 3 or best of 5. So perhaps that's ByuN being like, okay, well, I've seen Maru do this in tournaments recently, perhaps even against me. Go for a proxy Reaper, go for proxy Marines. I got to scout these positions and try and figure that out. And for us on the outside looking in, sometimes it's hard to decipher exactly what the logic is behind a play like that. But, you know, gamers like these two, they're operating at levels so far beyond what we can comprehend.
Well, also they've played against each other so many times that there's this like whole weird meta game of like, well, he has these ticks that, you know, he has certain things he does, or I know he won't do this or that. It's why when you get to this level, you have to have so many different ways to randomize what you're doing and approach the game in a different way and really build out what you're able to do. You know, I think for most people, they have the experience of just being on ladder and usually running like 3 different builds for the 3 matchups they're going to play in. But I mean, when you get to this, you have to be able to do everything. So many different types of plays, and it's crazy, man.
Especially with these two. They're both championship caliber players.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of...
People forget, ByuN was a world champion.
Yeah, he was. And Maru's won 5 GSLs, looking to win his 6th Code S here. So these are players that, you know, you talk about running a lot of different builds. They're experienced in not only playing best of 3s, but best of 5s, best of 7s. And when you get to that depth, when you're preparing for those kind of series, I mean, you got to have a lot of tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this game, we've got the starport coming now. ByuN picks up and is going for a drop. We want to watch this very carefully and see how exactly it's going to be dealt with. There will be probably a little bit of vulnerability here for Maru. He's making his 3rd command center. It started very quickly. Wherever the drop goes, there should be a weakness there because he has only 4 Marines over at the front. I think there were like 3 up in his main.
Might have even been less than 3 as Maru spread a little bit thin here, but
oh,
with
I'm
that
sorry.
Cyclone,
it's actually a Reaper and a Hellion even.
Yeah, well, that Cyclone should allow him to, you know, deflect this without too much damage, you would hope. But we'll see how many SCVs are able to get taken down here. What am I actually burrows? And yeah, ByuN doesn't want to play this greedy at all, so he sees that Cyclone, immediately packs up and goes home.
Yeah, I think a drop is great if they're on 2 bases and they've moved out. I feel like if you're going to drop them and they're just waiting at home, they're probably going to be able to handle it. So good call by ByuN to not overextend. Remember that, you know, once he got a lead in game 1, he basically never let up. But I think the one way that this could backfire for ByuN is if he just, you know, gets too headstrong and overextends, and then I don't think Maru's going to let up.
Yeah, it's a good analysis. And, you know, one benefit of ByuN coming in there as well is he gets free scouting, more or less. He gets to see that there's a 3rd command center, and that tells him that, okay, I'm the player that's in the position that can actually start exerting pressure on my opponent. So you see him trying to find any damage he can right now with a small group of units outside of Maru's 3rd base. Maru back in ByuN's base as well, also confirming that ByuN's going for a later 3rd expansion.
So these double E-bays are going to finish up. Maru playing a pretty patient game. ByuN has come out on the map and looked for opportunities, but there really haven't been any that have presented themselves so far. I think Maru's basically tightened up his game a little bit from that game 1. I mean, he knows why he lost that. He got out-positioned. ByuN outmaneuvered him, and then the punishment came in. And so we're going to have probably a pretty slow game. I mean, if Maru's not going to create any opportunities, and not even really move out yet. I don't think there's going to be much that ByuN can do to try to stop him.
Oh, you say that, Tasteless, but ByuN
Well, never mind.
looks like he has plans of his own. 3 medevacs coming in. I think 2 Cyclones, perhaps?
We should also point out the upgrades have started for Maru at the E-Base first. The double E-Base are about to finish for ByuN, but this means that if Maru plays correctly, he will always be ahead in upgrades.
I think that might have actually been 2 siege tanks in that medevac as well, so this drop...
This is a committed drop.
Yeah, if this is able to deploy and actually get entrenched, that could be a big problem here for Maru, but he seems so keenly aware that there's something that ByuN is going to be trying to throw his way. You see him probing around there with a Raven.
Yeah, he's basically waiting. A scan is he's gonna see Marines walking out. This may be the moment he decides to come in here and drop. He's gonna see this small squad of units here on the map. I mean, there's a turret, there's a Raven. The Raven can obviously chuck down auto turrets. He's gonna see this, so he knows exactly what's going on. Now the question is, does ByuN just go for it? It looks like he will.
All right, medevac's coming in.
Okay,
decide to think better of it.
I was gonna say that feel you got to be crazy if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, that would have been an absolutely wild play to come in there with those 3 medevacs after getting spouted, but some nice micro there from ByuN. Able to pick off a medevac there at the 3rd base of Maru, and the game just going to slow down a little bit yet again.
Yeah, ByuN's going to come out once more. We're finally starting to get some movement here on the map. I think this is going to be timed out for 1-1 to finish here for Maru. This push is probably going to be coming down here towards this 3rd base.
Yeah, ByuN now just rejoining his forces back at the 3rd base, as it looks like Maru is going to be the one who's going to be going for this push. Combat shields also lined up with that 1-1 timing, so positioning on these siege tanks is going to be critical here. Maru skimming in.
Yeah, he does disable some of those tanks, and he's actually going to just run right around. This is so good. The tanks are sieged up. There's no way for them to get over here and protect these SCVs.
Maru doing a fantastic job of zoning out ByuN's army, preventing the reinforcements from coming in, and then pouncing on this position at the natural, picking off 28 SCVs. And right now, if ByuN's not able to make something happen, Maru's going to be taking game number 2.
Well, he's going to be coming in right now. He's going to take out another tank and maybe even one more. Some disables come in here. Did Maru actually overextend? ByuN fights back, but unfortunately the splash damage on the ground is too much. And I think you might be right, State. I think he might actually have just won this game.
And just a commanding position right now for Maru is ByuN only just now finishing +1-1. So all of these trades that have been happening up until this point, Maru had the upgrade advantage, and Maru with a very clean push, out-positioning ByuN in one final moment, just snapping the head, breaking the neck.
Snapping the head, State. I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better myself.
It's a good thing they don't pay me to use my words.
Some heads got snippety snapped. Wow. Yes, I mean...
It's a decapitation move. He snapped the neck.
No, he snapped the head. Don't get confused here of what gets snapped. We used to snap necks, and now we snap heads. How does it even look? You just...
It's got to be bone crushing. You got to have a lot of power to snap a head.
Getting brain everywhere. This has been a great series, by the way. I think Maru adjusted correctly. Very conservative play from him.
Yeah, I like the game plan there from Maru, just playing really tight defense right there on 2 CCs. With his scouting, he knew that he was playing a little bit more greedy than ByuN, so he was never really on the back foot where he felt the need to actually move out on the map. He wanted to just, wait, set up for one key moment, and he did it. 1-1, combat shields, one big push at ByuN's 3rd base, and just snaps the head.
Snapped his head. Took the head, just snapped it.
Well, we have a series, Tasteless. 1-1 right here in the winners match.
It's been a very good series, too. I think Maru's probably got this next one. I think he's going to do basically the same thing. Not the same build, but the same idea. Just kind of wait. Like, all right, ByuN, I know what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to get me. You're going to try to attack me somewhere. I'm going to defend it. 1-1 upgrades for the win there. And I love the outmaneuvering of the tanks. Just coming in there, slashing down, snapping the heads, as some would say, of those SCVs.
The zoning was exceptional there from Maru.
Sick. All right, Royal Blood. I wouldn't have any other kind of blood in this one. Let's go into map 3. Uh-oh. But what about our robot voice?
I need a name tag. Okay, it's Maru. Maru's going for the proxy barracks, it would seem.
Does he send a second SCV yet. I think I see a second SCV.
Yeah, it's double barracks.
Will he send a third SCV?
No, don't get ahead of yourself. No way.
Third would be a lot.
It would be a lot of SCVs.
Tases, you know there's a limit to this, right? I'm like, what about a fourth SCV? It's like, do you even understand how the game works? Like,
the Count from Sesame Street just like comes on in the room and joins us for the rest of the cast.
What about 5 SCVs? Like, no, he needs to make a depot at home.
All
right, so double barracks.
Yeah, double barracks. There is a gas behind this. Positioning from this telling me this is going to be a Reaper proxy from Maru. Nothing too crazy. And, you know, ByuN, it felt like he kind of had an inkling that this might be the game plan for Maru in at least one of these games in the best of 3. He was scouting for something like this there in map number 2, but it's actually going to be map number 3 where Maru comes out here with a cheese.
I mean, let's point out if this, I think you're right, by the way, this is going to be Reapers coming up here. Barracks for ByuN is not exactly in a great spot.
No.
Like a lot of times the way these rushes work, we usually talk about this in like late game when we see Terran die, is like you kind of get on top of the barracks and Terran stuff is so weak, everything just kind of dies when it comes out, and that's kind of the nail in the coffin. But if you could just get like a couple Reapers out around the barracks and just kill the Reaper, the next one that comes out, you're probably going to win.
Yeah, and Maru's going to be happy coming in there and spotting that barracks placement as well, because he can just camp that position.
Yeah. The factory is right by the command center. That's a little bit better. Now, this first Reaper is going to come out, but let's see where it goes. It's being microed right now. It's not on any kind of waypoint. And sometimes it seems to me like this rush that we see in this matchup, you win if they send their Reaper to your base, because their Reaper can, yes, it can also kill all your SCVs, but not as fast as their Reapers can kill yours.
No, and if you're trying to micro your SCVs back at home while also kiting the SCVs of your opponent, on the other side of the map, it can be so difficult. And yeah, ByuN knows it, sends the Reaper back immediately, but SCVs are already going down. Even one of Maru's SCVs joining the fray here as ByuN trying to buy as much time as possible to get that Hellion out. But it's already snowballing here. One Reaper goes down.
Yep, here comes another Reaper. Good targeting on these SCVs.
So much damage being dealt here by these grenades.
He keeps it alive. Oh no. Hellion's out. More Reapers to come. And he gets it!
He can't even repair it. That's just it. Yeah, ByuN gets taken out there, and man,
Maru's laughing. He's like, ah, all right.
Yeah. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Maru all smiles, the first player to advance to the round of 8 here.
Well, things are the way they should be.
Yeah.
Snapping the head.
Snapping the head.
ByuN.
I mean, that was just unfortunate there for ByuN. Even if he has the Reaper back at home, it's going to be difficult for him to defend, but it was all the way to Maru's natural expansion by the time it turned around to actually come in and try and defend, and that's going to be Maru taking a very quick game number 3 and securing the 2-1 in the winner's match.
Love to see it. Maru, I mean, look, he played amazingly today. ByuN is looking very strong. We're going to be going to the losers matchup next here. PVZ with Nightmare versus DRG. That should be an interesting one. But for both of those guys, I would be very scared to try to go up against ByuN. He looks very good today. Maybe if Maru doesn't do that kind of cheesy opener, maybe it's actually ByuN that's advancing.
Yeah, absolutely. In game 2, maybe if he doesn't get caught out of position there at the third base, he could defend the natural, and that game goes on as well, right? ByuN looks really strong right now. Certainly going to be hard to beat him in the decider match today. I mean, who's it going to be? DRG? Nightmare?
I feel like it should be DRG. I don't... Nightmare is very good. I really like watching him play. He does have his own approach to the game as well, but DRG has been so consistently good. I'm almost... I'm very confident against anybody he's up against. It was actually weird to see the games versus ByuN because I actually thought DRG was probably going to take that. Anyways, guys,
감사합니다.
we're going to have an interview. Congratulations. He says thank you. In the chat, there's a lot of people saying Maru's going to get a bonus. You had some crazy moments back there.
뭐 실력으로 이긴 것 같진 않고 그냥 빌드 이겨가지고 이긴 거라서 그래도
I wouldn't say this was all skill that got me the win today, but I did win with the mind games. Both of you guys know each other so well. You played together so many times before.
빌드 싸움 이기니까
What was it like when you? What did it feel like when you won?
게임적으로도 어쩌면 빌드가 갈린 상태로 이게 많다 보니까 인게임적으로 궁금한
So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with
왜
it.
요새 결승전에 약한가요?
그러니까
Right
선수.
on. 왜?
왜 졌어요?
Why were you so weak in the finals?
몰라가지고 저도 좀 이기고 싶어가지고
I'm not sure why I was weak in the last finals. I think you're talking about IEM. I didn't think it was going to be that hard to win, but what I tried didn't really work out. Well, you've already won at G5L. We're eager to see if you can win in this finals, so keep up the hard work.
열심히는
What
하고
is your plan
있는데
coming forward?
결승만 가면 자신감이 없어가지고.
Yeah, like I said, I'm
이게-
practicing really hard.
아니 이미 너무
Some
많이
of
한
my
것
confidence
같아요.
did drop a little bit when I had stood on that stage in the finals before. He
이게
said
그렇게
maybe I,
할 것 같아요 지금.
maybe because I've won so many titles in the comments. I don't know. Can't make sense of that, guys.
그럼 만약에 이번 시즌은
Well, underneath what you said, you have that mindset. Which player are you watching out for this season?
그래도 변현수 형이 잘하지 않을까요?
He said no one.
지가 최종전 보내놓고.
At least
어차피 올라올 거니까.
You said ByuN, and they said you just defeated ByuN. I don't. We don't have Oliveira and GSL.
That's brutal.
They're basically making fun of him.
Yeah.
They're roasting him.
각오 말씀해 주시죠.
이렇게 오랜만에 GSL 해서 너무
Shout out to the fans.
4강 가가지고 팬분들
I've been excited to get ready for the season.
다시 한번 축하 말씀드리고 4강전 올라와서 8강
I'm the first to advance to the next round. I'm going to keep advancing. I'm going to make sure
네, 축하드립니다.
I want all the fans to know that they'll be seeing me in the Final Four in the studio.
Nice.
All right, some weird moments in that interview.
I like that confidence. Yeah, we're getting used to it.
It's like, I'm afraid of ByuN. It's like, you just beat ByuN. That's the craziest of all the possible answers you could have said. So, guys, as a reminder, if you're just now tuning in, we do have this Patreon up here. And all this money goes to the prize pool. This is the way it is now.
Yeah.
We're going to have to rely on the fans to keep the torch alive. Keep the flame of the GSL alive.
Keep it burning.
Yes.
I think we actually had a $1,000 donation earlier in the broadcast
cool.
too, which is just amazing. It's phenomenal. And yeah, as Teza said, all the proceeds from that going directly to the GSL prize pool. So this is you directly supporting your favorite players.
That's right.
Supporting the favorite tournament. And, you know, it's lovely to see the community coming together. Not just here supporting the GSL, but, you know, across StarCraft 2 as a whole. There have been so many up-and-coming tournaments for Korean players, for foreign players online.
Without the same kind of publisher support we had before, this is the way it's got to be. It's got to be from the ground up. It's got to be people like you at home with your credit cards. Looking at those last 3 numbers on the back so you can support our causes here.
Those last 3 numbers you
Those
can never
last 3
remember.
numbers. Mom, what are the last 3 numbers on the back of the credit card? Were we just told to go to commercial break?
I think we might have been.
We're going to go to a break. How about that? We'll be back in a little bit.
get it pumping, I'm looking away. Go tell mother I'm cooking the game. Flow like water bubbling up where you want me to make. Taking you back in the day, feeling immaculate, mate. Action packed back to back while you yapping away. I got a knack to react, but I'm packing a grace. Up to the max with a fact, let me grab the space. I had to map the place, who got a laughing face? On long and strong, looking like a stack full of hate. It goes on and on, way to the back of the bank. This phenomenon's on, I don't even have to say. I'm where I belong, this no back in the, you know? I go where I wanna, a fair warning for anybody with hair on them. You can't stop me, it gets sloppy to bear on them. They try copy, but man, look at the tears on them. Mishpat, yeah, so incredible. When you're this good, go let them know. Yeah, so incredible. When you're this good, go let them know. They ain't never hear a band like this. They ain't never seen a man like this. Go let them know. They ain't never hear a band like this. They ain't never seen a man like this. Go let them know. Flow's incredible, look at them anxious. You can't go against the creed like Jonathan Major. Gotta see it to believe it, come do me a favor. Look at the paper, peeping the cadence. Life here, then it's gone, you ain't know it's a vapor. Gotta travel, carry on, bring your people to make us. See the world cast pearls, quit trying to be famous.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
드디어 카운트다운을 시작합니다.
4, 3, 2, 1.
떴다. 제로 칼로리로 기분까지 가볍게. 밀키스 제로.
너도 탐세봐 탐세로.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute.
Today's matchup. Maru. Nightmare. ByuN. DRG.
Welcome back to the GSL. We have already had our first player advance here. Maru playing a very impressive TVT there to survive. ByuN will be in our final match of the evening. Now it's time to eliminate our first GSL player. Now with the format change, we only have 16 players. Obviously, it is a very difficult tournament to even get an appearance in.
Yeah, a ton of players try to play through the qualifiers
Yeah.
and could not make it just because the competition is so stacked. As you know, starting the round of 16, it's almost like we're already in the thick of it. As we're just hunched over looking at the at the graphic. It's like the
Jurassic
veil.
Park where I come up over the chain, the hands, King Kong.
The veil is being lifted. This is what we do like every single
Oh
broadcast.
yeah, when the game starts, we go, make it like that. I get my knees up here like that. Hold on.
Take off your jacket.
Take off my jacket. I unbutton this, scratching my chest. I'm doing my play-by-play.
Yeah.
We're still getting a handle on
yeah.
when we come back on camera and how fast that is.
Yeah, because usually, like, you know, we come back on show, we did the little intro, we go to the first slide, and then we're off camera pretty much until we go into the
now
outro.
we come back on.
So we just had like the worst
chains back here.
Normally we just have like the worst posture ever, just like hunched over this desk.
I mean, it's so funny actually. If you ever see like a bunch of StarCraft players like all like at dinner together, like in a bar together with their little nerd backs on, their heads just like fall right down. It's a bunch of guys with the 20 years in the 20-year range, 30-year range. They all have the posture of Bernie Sanders. All right, so we're going to go to Royal Blood for map 1.
Have we seen Royal Blood in every series so far? I think we
Yeah,
might
I think
have.
so. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, Royal Blood going to be set number 2. We'll be seeing Altitude. Map number 2, that should be a guaranteed one, as I'm sure. My memory's always so bad about this in terms of what games and what maps actually get played over the course of the day as we're casting. Like,
I've talked to this with Artosis, and we've actually done this experiment where we'll be like, can you name every game and what happened in it when we're done? Like when we're walking, it says we're like, we almost never able to do all of them. Like it's something weird about when you cast is you try to retain everything. This is it. We're gonna go into this match. Nightmare versus DRG. We barely talked about this guy.
Nightmare.
Oh, now I am gonna have a nightmare hearing that voice.
I love these rugs we have.
Yeah,
here
we
on
have
Royal
a nice
Blood.
rug underneath this. It's like a magic carpet, or maybe not. Maybe it's just a carpet.
I think
There's something magical about it. It can't fly, but if it could, it'd be OP.
DRG.
Hey, we got like a couple different sets of carpets on this map. We got this nice little magic carpet kind of looking thing in the main base, and then go to the natural expansion as we see Nightmare coming into block. You got these nice 2 little carpets, kind of yin and yang thing going on here.
Some kind of turned carpets. These are kind of like award show carpets is the way I think of them, you know.
Yeah, there you go. Award show carpet. Is DRG going to plant the hatchery down there? And we actually have a gold base.
And I feel like these are cups of milk, if I'm not mistaken.
wait, what? The cups of milk?
Which your cat's going to drink from that, but it's not good for him. Not supposed to be drinking milk.
I was going to continue on the rug tangent, but I want to see this cup of milk now.
I swear, if you look at when they come down the ramp, it looks like there's a saucer of milk.
Yeah, we'll take a look. But one thing that kind of surprised me, the first
There
time
it is. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah, look at that.
This also the middle of this map with the wood floors and the gold everywhere. It reminds me of that Heroes of the Storm map with the pirate.
Heroes of the Storm map. Yeah, I'm not.
Did you not play that game at all?
Did not get into that one.
Well, it looks like that. Well, anyways, it does look like that. I know that you can't prove that because you didn't play it, but you're gonna have to trust me.
I believe you.
I wouldn't lie to you in front of all these people watching us.
But yeah, the first time that I played on this map, I was going through and I noticed this like rug theme where every single base is a little bit of a rug, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like you have like this little magic carpet thing going on in the main base. You got these two symmetrical carpets here at the natural expansion, and then I had this little seed in my mind. I'm like, I bet the gold base carpet's gonna be so cool. And then you go and it's like a little bathroom mat.
Yeah,
it's like this little tiny, it's like this little tiny hexagon. It's the saddest little carpet you've ever seen. But yeah, Nightmare with this probe here behind what would be the natural expansion for Dongre Goo. Gonna try and see when that 3rd hatchery goes down. DRG now pumping out a couple of lings, going for speed. Stargate opening here for Nightmare.
Yeah, let's see if Nightmare just plays normally. Maybe he just takes a 3rd, gets an Oracle, or maybe even a Void Ray and expands, or if we're gonna have any kind of timing attack. It did feel like a lot of last year was watching the Protoss try to do that crazy timing attack that never worked, and the Zerg would eventually kill them.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe Hero, who was able to kind of make some nice plays and actually kind of leverage that into the middle and late game. But yeah, so far, that really has been the story in a lot of these PvZs, is these, as you said, often failed timing attacks where Zerg players have just gotten so good over the course of the decade that StarCraft 2 has been out at just knowing how to exactly walk the razor's edge in terms of what you can get away with in terms of creating what you can't.
I mean, it's kind of always been one of the ways that Zerg can be played, but they've gotten so good at it. You know, and you know, the longer the game's out, the more wild the moves from the Protoss are, if they are going to do any kind of timing attack. But who knows how this year is going to pan out in each of the matchups. We do have these meta shifts that we get to watch, you know, develop over time. And we have had these games where Protosses just actually don't attack. They just stay back, they turtle, they defend. And we get into one of these pretty long, dramatic PvZs. These Lings are going to come around here, and luckily for Protoss, oh my god! Okay, not bad.
For a second, I thought it was going to get away, but
yeah,
last hit, DRG's able to kill that Adept, and will be a Forged Twilight Council follow-up behind that 3rd base here for Nightmare. So far, so good for him. Nothing too really out of the box. This is about as cookie cutter as it gets.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, we got some gateways coming down. We need to see, you know, how many more gates is he actually going to get. Because for now, there's no way to really tell what the Protoss is doing. Zerg, on the other hand, is just continuing to power up here with as many drones as is possible. Yeah, we must wait. You know, we're going to have this Twilight Council finish here, and we are going to have Blink.
Okay.
Now, we did have these games from Hero where he basically just got a lot of Oracles and the Stalkers and kind of played aggro. I don't think we're going to have that this time because there's no activity out of the Stargate. The Overlord's going to come in here. This is very well timed out. When you look at that, you know, okay, it's either Blink or it's, you know, Glaive Adepts, and it's probably not that. And so, right now, Nightmare's playing very well. He's not doing anything too dramatic. He's not, you know, doing some kind of an all-in. He's just developing normally, but we will see some pressure build here coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that not only Hero, but also MaxPax has been so good at.
Yeah.
Is using these Blink Stalkers to just kind of shark around the map, especially with Oracles. Ooh, a little bit of a slip up there for Nightmare, taking some... Man, it took a long time to realize what was going on there. Perhaps misclicked on the minimap or something and thought he sent the Oracles further away, but that's a lot of hull damage being taken. Let's put those Oracles down to half HP. DRG now with a little bit of a run by. We'll pick off 2 probes.
Yeah, not bad at all back there. Just sniping those workers, just getting anything out of there that he can. We are starting to see a lot more warp-ins, and with the 4 additional gateways about to finish, this should tee up the push from the Protoss. Now, the 4th base for the Zerg is down here just next to 6 o'clock. It's not exactly a very attackable position. I guess you can go the long way all the way around to the bottom and try to hit it. But to be honest, I feel like none of these positions that Zerg are in are that attackable. But he is making a pylon out here on the map. He's not just going to be relying on a warp prism or anything like that. And he is going to be reinforcing from here. The Lings have not come around and spotted that pylon just yet.
Yeah, there's going to be a proxy gate as well, so this is going to be a heavily committed attack here for Nightmare. Keep in mind, +1 ground weapons is completed here for the Protoss players. So coming in here, these Stalkers are going to pack a punch. Getting some damage in, will blink away, and oh, we got a big stasis trap! Look at all those Zerglings get caught out right there.
Beautifully done. The Stalkers are going to come down once more. The Oracle's still ready to be activated when they need to.
Another stasis ward coming down. Dongrigu successfully able to deactivate that one. These Zerglings are about to pop.
And he's going to be careful because he can get surrounded by these Lings as this thaws. That's exactly what we have, but the Oracles are doing a great job of dealing some extra damage over here. He's going to be pulled back. A lot of these Queens are off creep, and they get sniped down.
This is just beautiful play out of Nightmare. I mean, once that trap was sprung there with the initial stasis ward, it's just been all downhill here for DRG. He's going to try and continue to hold on with these Zerglings. +2 melee weapons is being researched now, but at this point, it almost feels like this base is going to go down.
Yeah, this is just so many Stalkers here. The Oracles do not have any energy, but I think it doesn't actually... Well, maybe, hold on a second.
So many Stalkers are surviving, though. I mean, they're getting low HP, but the blink control is there, and Nightmare actually confident enough to blink on top. Pick off this hatchery and get an additional queen. And DRG right now, 20 supply down, just continuously pumping Zerglings and Banelings. He's desperate to try to make something happen here, but keep in mind, 30 Stalkers absolutely beats 23 Lings.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not actually targeting down the Baneling's nest over here. The Banes are going to be coming out. Now, he doesn't have any sentries or any way to easily block this, so he just has to kind of fan out, blink away.
There's so much Protoss.
This is just too much. I mean, I can't believe that this is actually how DRG is going to be taken out in game 1. Nightmare, very nicely done. Crushes through.
That was a fantastic game number 1. I love the way that Nightmare executed that push.
Yeah.
Over there on the 4th base of DRG. You know, once that stasis ward popped, it got so many Zerglings that DRG was no longer in a position where he could actually contest Nightmare's army. And Nightmare did the smart thing. He didn't back off. He didn't try and wait and just surround those Lings that he captured. Instead, he just pushed the initiative. He continuously attacked into that 4th base. He forced Dongrigu to continuously make more and more trades with his weakened army.
Yeah.
And then once that stasis ward started counting down, you could just see him kind of arc his Stalkers in a way that's going to prevent those Lings from getting good surface area and just blink away the injured Stalkers. From there, it just completely snowballed. Just really smart play.
It was very cool to see. Like, if you look back on the push, he does not get a warp prism. That's very intentional. He has very strong upgraded Stalkers, but relies on the pylon to bring that in. And I think from the Zerg's perspective, he doesn't see the warp prism out. He's like, oh, this isn't a commitment. This isn't, you know, we don't have that very often. A pylon and a gateway just for that position in like mid-game in a kind of normal looking push. he came out, and I love what you pointed out, State. You know, that the stasis ward was huge. And so Nightmare takes game 1, DRG and some hot water. We're going to go to altitude here for map number 2.
All right, let's see what DRG is able to cook up. This is an elimination match here for him.
Yeah.
He must survive here. His altitude loading up.
All right, guys, we're going to go to map 2 as Nightmare versus DRG continues on. This time, Nightmare with a 1-0 lead.
Club NV, Nightmare. Club NV, DRG.
So we do have a probe going southbound through the middle of the map here.
It looks like this probe just going to try deny that natural expansion here for DRG. Excited to see altitude get played here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Let's see how they approach this map. It's going to be a gateway as part of the wall in here on the low ground. The probe has come out and denied the hatchery that would be made. Natural expansion that'll force the Zerg to expand further out on the map.
That third base just getting taken there by DRG. Nightmare's going to come into the main base. Confirm no early pool. Check on the gas geyser timing, and from here, just going to watch as both players develop. 110 gas coming in here for DRG. I think that's about 330 on speed. I remember my maths, my old Protoss days, trying to get damage done with those adepts. I'm probably wrong about that. It's been so long.
It's good to know those, though, when you're playing, if you know exactly when something comes out, you know, a certain time, what you can get away with and what you can't. That was one of the weird things for when StarCraft Remastered came out, is in the original StarCraft, we didn't have a clock on the screen.
What?
Yeah. So it was like you'd have these other weird things that you would try to use to, like, know the timings of stuff. Like, if I have like this amount of supply at this point in time, that's like, at that moment, that's when this attack should come or not come.
That is crazy to me, not having a clock.
It's crazy, dude. And then when Remastered came back out and I started tinkering with that, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better to just have an actual clock. Because sometimes you'll play a little bit slower, right? Or you make a mistake, you can have the wrong read on a situation.
I'm just imagining, like, I'm imagining some old school, like, Brood War player just, like, busting out their watch in the middle of a game and just, like, they just, like, keep looking down and they're like, okay, it's been 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I gotta watch out for the vulture timing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I can't imagine playing an RTS game without a clock.
No, you need to have a clock.
I sometimes see streamers do this for a variety of different RTS games, and they just play without a clock when there's one enabled in the game, and I'm like, how do you wrap your head around
I don't get that at all.
timings?
I feel like it's such a good tool to have. Why would you not want that there? And it's so easy once you memorize a certain number of things that you can you can call based off where the clock is. It makes your life so much easier.
Yeah. All right, so it's going to be a Twilight Council here before Nightmare. No Stargate just yet, and actually a Robo. So I'm wondering exactly what variant of Twilight Pressure this is going to be. It might be... I'm saying this and I'm already dreading it. It might be a depth pressure, but
could be. I mean, if it is, it hasn't worked out that well so far. We do have.
Oh, excuse me. It's a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, Dark Shrine build. Okay.
Of course it would have started already if it was going to be that.
Okay, so maybe a little DT drop coming in here.
Yeah. Curious to see. I wonder exactly how committed Nightmare is going to be with this. If it's going to be an Archon drop, if he's going to go in with multiple DTs and try and...
I feel like usually when we see him do it, they go for like DTs right away to see if they can just catch you off guard. And then it's immediately into Archons. And then you just start to harass, try to get value. And you always get really good value because Archons are almost entirely shields.
Right.
So you're not really trading out that much for it. The Overlord's going to come in here. Is he going to spot this? I don't see any Stalker to shoot this down, so... Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's one coming up now.
Coming up. I don't think he's going to spot it. It'll be really close, though. He's got it. He's got it. He's got it.
Oh, he sees it.
Yeah. Had one more tick to spare there, too. So it's going to confirm the build. And, you know, I love this play there by Nightmare, by the way. Notice he chrono boosted the Twilight Council with nothing researching to try and bait DRG into thinking, okay, this might be Adepts or this might be Blinkstalkers again.
Yeah.
DRG just lost to a Blinkstalker timing. So
yeah, that's true.
he doesn't want him to know that it's DTs just yet.
Yeah.
Actually, Tasteless, I see you pointing on the screen. We got DT Blink underway.
My little nerd finger was waving over. Look at that state. Link counterattack, not a bad idea. This shouldn't be able to get too much done here. He's going to have a small warp in that's going to plug this up.
Some banelings over here at the third base for DRG as kind of prepare for every potential attack. And double Blink Tasteless. Blink Stalkers and Blink TTs both being researched right now. You were not kidding when you said that Nightmare kind of plays by the beat of his own drum.
Yeah, I love to see it because, you know, this is always a thing that happens in RTS, right? It's like one guy plays one way and then everybody tries to emulate that because it's so hard to figure stuff out on your own. But this is very cool to see. Double Blink.
He's doing it off of 5 Adepts as well.
Yeah.
So, this is something that I haven't seen too much. Maybe it's a little bit more of a new age Protoss thing.
Yeah, well, I think honestly, like, this is definitely new age because I mean I personally haven't casted a game like this. Even in kind of ET, I didn't see a game that looked like this. But Nightmare's always like been the guy who's going to be trying to upgrade DT Blink and stuff like that. Okay, so the DTs are going to come down now. Is he actually ready? Does he have any detection? There's a Spore and an Overseer coming, but it's not where it needs to be to actually keep this safe. So he's going to blink up into the main with the Observer. There is a Spore here as well. That's what I was looking for.
I don't think DRG is aware that this blink happened. He has no reaction to it just yet. So this is very nice here for Nightmare. He's going to be able to come into this main base, into this mineral line, and he already has blink available. He does see the lair, so he has to have in his mind that Overseers are a possibility here. But keep in mind, he does have that blink. Let's see him blink down into the net and get some more drones.
Yeah, this is very cool.
And then the recall. Nice
All right.
move.
Not bad. I mean, 3 drones and a Spore, it's not that great either, I guess.
Very cool, though.
It's cool.
The cool factor is off the charts.
It definitely was cool. There was definitely Mission Impossible music playing when those DTs blinked into the main and then got back out. But did he do enough damage to DRG that is working off of an engine that is going to be producing so much?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, as we actually have a Forge and a Robobay coming in now as well. And I love, this utility from the Blink DTs coming in here. It's actually clean up some creep that will stem the tide a little bit there as DRG drops down some new tumors. And, you know, for the way that it was going early with Nightmare going for such quick Blink and Blink DTs, I was expecting something a little more crazy in terms of army composition. But if you look at the army that he's assembled, this is, you know, it's serviceable. It's not too far out of the ordinary.
Yeah. The creep has been spread very nicely out on the map. It does seem like it's about time for the Protoss to try to come out with a push. But, God, look at the supply right now for DRG, 156.
Yep, Roach Ravager Baneling right now is going to be the composition of choice here for DRG as Nightmare coming in here with these shades. We'll try to get some idea. The Hallucinating Phoenix confirms exactly what DRG's army composition is and where it's at. DRG actually manually detonates some mailings to try and deflect those DTs. And Tasteless, here comes the attack.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come in here. Oh my God, move command. All right, that was not the way I thought it was going to go down. A lot of these Lings are doing a lot of damage, and DRG is just going to start to crush through here.
Disruptors are out though, Tasteless, and there's some big hits coming in as multiple Ravagers go down. Will it be enough though?
I mean, it just seems like as cool as what Nightmare was trying to do was, it did not put him in a position where he can even hang with a Zerg that's going to be producing off of this much.
Yeah. This might be one of those situations where you're just trying to go for a little bit too nuanced to play, and then suddenly this army just sweeps in.
Yeah, it's just like, well, this is what happens when you try to do that. Now I'm exactly where I need to be. It's like, that's cool that you got DT Blink, but...
Some more nice Disruptor hits, but the nail is basically already in the coffin. That third Nexus only just now being rebuilt here for Nightmare, and keep in mind, he lost workers there as well, and this main base already half saturation with those mineral fields depleting. He needs to make something happen. But
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you see games like this, it's just the Protoss trying to get a third like 2 or 3 more times and always losing.
yeah, it's tough for DRG with his army composition to really go for a killing blow up that natural base, especially with 4 disruptors out and shield batteries on the top of that ramp. So he's going to do the smart thing. He's going to play it slow and just wait for Nightmare to eventually try to retake that third base as he is right now, and then just come in and bring the hammer to him yet again. But it's going to take a miracle for Nightmare to try and come back in this one.
Yeah, this is, it's too bad. I mean, he looked very cool in that first game, but this is a little bit too stylish, I think, from him. And, you know, what value do the DTs with the Blink really get you right now, you know? It's hard to kill them off, sure. But, I mean, Zerg's already maxed out. Zerg is almost doubling the supply of the Protoss. And, you know, there's not much to this, right? I mean, you basically just 1A your whole army across the map. And I mean, I don't even know with perfect disruptor shots how well you can actually do, right?
Yep, first disruptor shot comes in. Second one is a whiff. Third one will be able to connect with some roaches, but there is just so much Zerg that
this is it.
Yeah,
I think we're going to go to game 3. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, clearly the build order was original. I'll give him that.
Certainly was.
But I think we see why we're probably not going to see that again in any match that's of any importance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is some kind of potential to mixing in Blink Stalkers and Blink DTs, but just not the way that one shaked
Well,
shaked
I think
out.
maybe if you can do some kind of a timing attack and not like a harass, right? I mean, DRG basically just played it safe. He had the Spore. If there's no Spore, I think you can actually do a ton of damage. I think you can kill off a bunch of drones, maybe get the Queen. But if there's a Spore, okay, well, then they kill the Spore,
Yeah.
and then you have to leave. You know what I mean?
I think in total he got maybe 3 drones, half damage on a hatchery, and a couple creep tumors with those DTs and not too much else. And he was able to morph them into Archons, but need more meat in your army, you know? I mean, that's an expensive upgrade, going for the Dark Shrine, building those DTs, going for the Warp Prism, getting DT Blink. It's a lot of resources invested in something that didn't really have an immediate payoff.
That doesn't kill a base. It doesn't wipe out a ton of drones. I mean, we see 3 drones killed a lot of times by 2 oracles.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that's it. And it's like, well, that's good. It's better than not killing any drones, but it's not enough to really reshape the game. And basically, DRG just gets to go where he was trying to go. He gets all his units out, and now we're tied up 1-1.
Yeah, and as the Zerg also in a position like that, I think you might kind of be breathing a sigh of relief when he's like, oh, you're going for Blink DT? That's your thing? I can kind of, you don't have a kill move potential
I just defend? Okay.
So we'll see what Nightmare is going to bring out here on set number 3, Babylon.
Babylon.
Babylon, yeah.
Babylon.
Excuse me, I mispronounced
Is there even
that.
a baby on this map? What's going on? Why do they name it that? That's kind of stupid.
These fools. These fools.
Is there even a crib for the baby? I mean, what? I don't get it. We're going to go to that map 3 right now, guys. This is Nightmare versus DRG. And remember, the loser is out of the GSL. Out! All right. Scary robot voice.
Club NV, Nightmare.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that
I feel
we
like
didn't have
all that stuff behind him is going to fall on him. I'm getting so worried.
Oh, here? All of the I'm sorry, were you
Stuff
talking
in
about
the
Nightmare or were you
background,
talking about DRG?
stuff in the background.
DRG.
Yeah. It's a very safe area that DRG is playing in.
Yeah, there's nothing there. So, I mean, I think we need to see something more pronounced here from Nightmare this time around. I like that he's got, like I said, you know, he does have his like own take on the race and the game, and that's very cool to see. But it was not enough. Certainly not for DRG.
No. I mean, the creative build that he came out with in Game 1, skipping the Warp Prism, going for a really fast pressure, and then laying that trap there with the Stasis Wards was beautiful. I would love to see something similar to that in this game, because I feel like if you kind of let DRG play his own game, which going Blink DT kind of does, because it's very, I mean, it is pressure, but it's very minimal pressure. There's no kill potential, right?
Right.
He's just going to beat you in the long game. He's going to outmass you. So for Nightmare, I would love to see something maybe a little bit more harass-focused, or ideally even going back to what we saw in Game 1 and doing something that's just kind of a killing blow.
Well, we're going to see what exactly Nightmare's got in store here. It does seem like so far DRG just wants to get into like mid-game and late game and just kind of produce and play the defender. I guess that's not true for the one game against ByuN, but everything else has been like that. He did have that crazy proxy hatchery against ByuN. That was really fun to cast.
I think in this situation here, elimination match against Nightmare as DRG, I mean, you kind of know this guy's style. He tends to be a little bit quirky, a little bit aggressive, a little bit offbeat. Just play defensively, get a good idea of what's going on, and try to overwhelm him the same way that you did in game number 2.
Yeah.
It's really going to be up to Nightmare to try and throw a wrench into the machine that is DRG and topple him to, you know, go to that final decider match.
Yeah. You know, I think Nightmare, I really liked that first game. That was really fun to see. I don't feel like I've quite casted something like that. And it was funny because when I was watching it happen, I thought, man, he just still doesn't have a robo. Like, what is he, you know? And then I see the pylon come down, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess. And the fact that he didn't even overmake oracles, which, you know, when we watched Hero especially play, it was like lots of stalkers and lots of oracles to basically mute out any use the Lings might have had. And the Lings are really one of the big things that counter stalkers if you can get them surrounded. But instead, it's like a different approach that relies on stasis and then a lot more stalkers to take the game. So yeah, I mean, Nightmare's got a lot of cool ideas here. I think, you know, one of the burdens of Protoss is that very few pros have played very, very, very straight up and conservative and like do the same builds over and over. Like, that's Stats. Stats is like, yeah, I can tell you I'm going to open with this and I'm still going to beat you. And I just kind of play it perfectly. You know, the thing that Protoss has that I think is what makes it fun is the branch after the cybernetic score is done, all these different options.
Right.
For like what you can tech to. So it's like, oh, I'm going to go for a Robo. No, I'm going to go for a Stargate.
I think it's the reason why when we think back at, you know, some of the greatest Protoss players of all time, we think about, you know, world champion SOS, who is just a complete wild card.
Oh, you
and
just don't know what he's going to do.
He leans into Protoss more so than anybody else in terms of just complete randomness. Something deadly is coming your way, and it could be any one of these 12 things. You don't know how to anticipate it. You have Nightmare now coming in, actually catching this spot before the Spore Crawler is done. So a little bit of greed check there on DRG. We'll pick up 4 drones, and I'm going to start here for Nightmare. But yeah, I like what you said, where, you know, these other races, Terran and Zerg, very linear in the way that they progress over the course of the game. With Protoss, you really have a lot of opportunities right out of the gate, and you have to lean into that. And that's what Nightmare did in game number 1. It's kind of what he tried to do in game number 2.
Yeah, it was bad theory, I think, in game 2 was the problem. Like, he executed the build, but it's like, yeah, but so what did that get you? You didn't actually get ahead at all. You probably, I mean, like, that Oracle that killed 4 drones did more damage than those 3 DTs, and, you know, those DTs are not cheap. Blink is not cheap. Well, it's cheap, but, you know, I mean, all these things add up. Whenever you invest in something that's going to harass, it has to pay for itself, and ideally more.
I think we're seeing the same build that we saw in game 1, more or less, because Nightmare's thrown down that 3rd Nexus, and he hasn't built a probe in so long. Okay, just now starting up 3, but there was a long probe cut there. Blink is already underway. +1 ground weapons is done, and yep, even more gateways. So this is looking like another timing attack here with Blink.
Yeah, hey, look, I mean, why not try it? I do feel like, you know, this can't be as effective as game 1, right? Because, I mean, DRG's experienced this before. He is going to get a Robo, by the way, so maybe not the exact same build, but definitely looks like it's got a lot of the same ideas at play here.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what Nightmare is going to do. More Stalkers getting warped in. Does throw down a Robo, so it's not a carbon copy of what we saw in game 1. And in fact, it might just be something a little bit more standard. Maybe him cutting probes there was just him playing a little bit more safe and trying to get some critical infrastructure up in case DRG comes for a timing attack here at the 3rd.
Okay, well, that 4th base is coming down, and very often in this matchup, that's the moment where we do see them try to come in and do that push. The Blink is going to be done. We have the same 2 Oracles from game 1. Maybe the exact same pilots. They're from.
Yeah, they did survive, right?
Listen, we lost game 2. Get those same 2 Oracles back in here.
I like this move right here by Nightmare. This is very ambitious, but...
Well, he's trying to come out here and say, like, okay, where's the pylon? Where's your setup? And he's going to counterattack, actually, now over here. Well, he was. There's rocks blocking that, but he's looking for something.
Yep, a lot of Zerglings now coming in from DRG onto Nightmare's third base. Nightmare is going to blink back. Not a bad engagement here right from the start here for Nightmare, but that's a lot of Lings, Tasteless.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how long that Stalker was staying alive. That's a bit of an overextension by DRG. That's a lot of Lings. Obviously, Lings are the most expendable thing in the game, but still, that's quite a bit that were picked off there. And this should allow Nightmare to then kind of come back out on the map and start trying to fight once more.
Yep, RoboBay now coming in for Nightmares. He's going to slowly start to add either Disruptors or Colossi into this mix here. Will be Disruptors,
Yeah.
Dark Shrine underway, and man, so far I'm really liking the position that Nightmare is in. This is his most solid game by a mile, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the same game as Game 1, but no, he's just playing a little bit more passively, maybe hoping that DRG is going to overreact and you know, cut drones to try to not die to a push that's not really even coming. In fact, it looks like at this point in time, Nightmare is more interested in getting a fourth base than even trying to push out so far.
Yep. These Stalkers once again deflecting these Zerglings, and you know, this is something that Hero really pioneered when he came back to StarCraft 2, and it's a great success, and it's nice to see Nightmare kind of playing a little bit more of a standard style right now and making it work. You know, he's already taking that fourth base, only going to be one base behind the Zerg. That's an okay position for Protoss to be in. Getting his +2 ground weapons, Dark Shrine almost done, just trying to solidify his position.
So the Lings are going to come in here once more. I got to say, DRG is starting to really make this work. I mean, if you can't keep track of all these Lings, you're never going to get your fourth base up. And this may actually be kind of a funny way that DRG eventually navigates this to a win, is just denying the fourth over and over while continuing to grow on his side of the map.
Yeah. For as much as I like what Nightmare is doing here, you can't get caught out of position like that.
Yeah.
It's such a Ling-heavy composition. You really need to stabilize and kind of play similar to the way that Maru did against ByuN in some way, where you just have to have almost impenetrable armor.
Yeah, you have to have, like, I think, especially you'll see this with players that have, like, everything on one hotkey, where it's like, well, now you're going to die to a counterattack somewhere. If you can spread your stuff out a little bit more, you can be okay. And it looks like the Lings are going to come up now. And, I am actually starting to wonder if this game is going to end a lot like Game 2, where, like, the Zerg's just going to have way more and just start to crush the Protoss, because the Protoss didn't really get anything done here. And the fourth, was delayed so many times over.
It might, especially with melee attack level 2 coming in here for the Zerg. With so many Zerglings, 104 Lings on the map right now, and even some Banelings in the mix. Is DRG with his +2 weapons, he's willing to take this trade. Non-existent Blink Micro here for Nightmare, so he's going to lose a couple of Stalkers.
Yeah, good control so far from Nightmare. He's slowly blinking back.
But these Stalker losses, they add up quick. I mean, these Lings are so easy to replace, and really, if you're in Nightmare's position, you got to fight as hard as you possibly can to get close to max, because any fight that happens right now between DRG and you, DRG's army, he's not really getting much stronger at this point. Maybe he can morph some more Banelings, but that's it. His army supply isn't getting bigger. For you as Protoss, you want to try and build up that army as much as you can to close that gap with the Zerg so that you can take more favorable trades later. And losing Stalkers like that, it slows you down just a little bit. But, I mean, to Nightmare's credit, he is starting to stabilize on 4 bases.
Yeah, you're right. He hasn't been broken into just yet. I mean, he's basically staying alive here. I'm just worried that, we're getting to that point where Zerg is so far ahead, getting so much of the map, and that's when you could start to trade inefficiently. Oh my God.
Nice play there by Nightmare, using the Disruption Ball to deal with a lot of those Banelings. But then even more damage coming in there as we're going to slowly start to repopulate this base.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot more Banes. It was kind of a weird attack that we saw back there. Kind of didn't do anything. It was like way too many Banes for what was actually there, right?
Right.
So not a favorable trade. Kind of sloppy from DRG, if I'm going to be honest. But we're going to have so many Banes at this point in time. I don't even know how many Banes are in this game right now, but like there's going to be a moment where I think DRG can just pull the trigger. I say that, though, but then we see this push come out here from Nightmare, so maybe it's going to be coming down to this fight over here instead.
Yeah, Nightmare's getting close to max, and he's starting to feel confident enough to begin moving out on the map, but he has to be mindful of counterattacks here because, this composition is very immobile, and actually Don Grey Goose setting up a huge flank coming in. Disruptor shots on those Hydralisks will not connect. Bailey is coming on the Stalkers with massive connections.
Okay, so this is a lot of damage that's being received here from Nightmare. I mean, this is going to get bad. I don't think he can actually hold his base back here at home. He's dropped down to 120. Well, now it's spiked back up to 135 supply. But DRG's maxed out.
Yeah, I'm not sure Nightmare's going to be able to hold on. Maybe a little bit too ambitious, moving out into the middle of the map there and getting caught, almost completely surrounded by DRG. Is the stasis ward's going to pop, and DRG's going to use that as his cue to push this position yet again. Baneling's rolling in.
Oh my God, huge connection over there on those Hydras. But again, I just think that we're past the point where Protoss was able to do anything. You know, that fourth base was denied a couple times. Protoss is barely holding on right now. These Lings are about to unfreeze, and that's going to just surround these Stalkers. And Stalkers, by the way, are the only thing that I'm seeing that Nightmare has. I think this game's almost over.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much done right now. Dongre Gu towering over Nightmare, double the supply. Complete control of this game as he's going to be moving on to the decider match with Nightmare eliminated from Group A.
Nightmare dies out. You know, GSL on its 12th or 13th year now. I mean, we've had Nightmare off and on here. He has his own style, yes, but he never quite seems to be able to make this style surpass the other styles of the other Protosses that we've had here.
Yeah, and you can kind of get a little bit of a flavor of that from him in game number 2. I loved what we saw out of him. It just didn't really translate into any success. But, you know, overall, they were pretty fun and creative games. I love that build in game number 1. Game 2 was quite innovative, kind of out there, but, you know, maybe something that with a little bit of tweaking can find more damage in the future. And game 3, for a very long time, Nightmare felt like he was playing a good game against DRG straight up, which, you know, that's impressive. Dongre Gu, he got top 6 in 3 consecutive GSL Code S's last year, so that's a feat in and of itself.
And this means we're going to have the rematch. It's going to be ByuN versus DRG coming in here. Now, ByuN did crush DRG in an almost weirdly short series, but I imagine DRG's probably a little bit more warmed up now. He should be bringing a little bit of a better game here. Otherwise, I mean, I guess it's going to be ByuN surviving.
Yeah, ByuN versus DRG is going to be the final match to decide who advances from Group A and joins Maru in the round of 8. And, you know, so far things going about to script, but we'll see what happens when we get back from this break, guys.
Be right back.
갈수록 더 새로운 날이 보여 시작해 짜릿하게 잠해봐 시작해 색다르게 잠해봐 매일 잠해봐 새로운 날을 시작은 새로 짜릿함을 탐해 매일 새로움을 탐해 너도 탐세봐 탐세로
드디어 카운트다운을 시작합니다.
4, 3, 2, 1.
떴다. 제로 칼로리로 기분까지 가볍게. 밀키스 제로.
탐해봐 새로운 걸 탐해봐 짜릿한 걸 탐할수록 더 새로운 날이 보여 시작해 짜릿하게 탐해봐 시작해 색다르게 탐해봐 매일 탐해봐 새로운 날을 시작은 새로 짜릿함을 탐해 매일 새로움을 탐해 너도 탐세봐 탐세로 I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. Everybody let it drop when I'm in it. I've been coming up hot for a minute.
14 GSL 시즌 1 16강전이 드디어 꽃피는 서버에 시작을 합니다.
그렇다면 김주지 선수에게 영상 메시지 한번 갈까요? 3연속 결승 진출을 이뤄냈습니다. 가족들에게도 좀 멋진 모습을 보여주고 싶을 텐데
열심히 하게 된 것 같아요.
제가 울죠. 마지막으로 현재까지 계속 응원해주시는 팬들에게 사실 조성호 선수에게 일찍 일격을 맞으면서
Moving out of the Group B is
축하드립니다.
TY.
많은 분들의 염원이기도 하고 소원이기도 하고 희망이기도 한
GSL의 간판, GSL의 여신 이현주 캐스터가 바쁜 관계로 문규리 씨와 함께합니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다.
프로토스 지역입니다. 네, 먼저 소개 부탁드릴게요.
성훈이요.
미남이라고 생각하는 선수 바로
친해지는 것도 있고 이제 편해지는 것도 있는데 콩라인을 탈출하시길 진심으로 바라보겠습니다.
군단의 심장 이후 저그 최초 2회 우승에 도전하며 인생 직진 음료 핫 6! 여러분 안녕하세요. 문규리입니다. 9년 동안 함께했던 GSL을 이제 떠나게 됐습니다. 그동안 함께할 수 있어서 굉장히 영광이었고요. 즐거웠고 또 감사했습니다. 저는 떠나지만 남은 GSL 함께 즐기면서 계속 응원할 거고요. 또 저도 잘 사는 모습 계속 보여드리겠습니다. 절대 잊지 못할 GSL 제작진들과 중계진, 코디팀, 또 스타투 선수들과 팬분들까지 정말 감사했습니다. 행복하세요.
Today's matchup. Maru, Nightmare, ByuN, DRG.
Welcome back to the GSL. We are ready now to go into our final match and close out Group A. This is a rematch between ByuN and DRG. Earlier on, ByuN did very quickly actually defeat DRG in two very one-sided games. I'm hoping we have a closer and longer series this time around.
Yeah, so we get a quick overview of the matches we had today. Of course, Maru, the first player advancing from Group A with a 2-0 win over Nightmare and a 2-1 win versus ByuN. And now, as you said, the rematch, ByuN versus DRG. And that first one was very quick. I mean, ByuN with that one killing blow with the Marines just coming through the center of the map with a medevac just kind of pulled the rug out of, I think, not only DRG, but also us. As we didn't expect it to be such a, such a
smashing
moment. I was trying not to say snap the head.
Snapping of the head. They think their heads to go. They snap them. I like a snapping of the head personally. That's our new thing. He got crushed, man.
Yeah.
But I do feel like looking at the games we just had of DRG, he does seem to be in better form. He was like losing the game before where he could really even get started, especially the first game where ByuN just came out with Stimmed Marines and just killed him. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and then the second game going for the proxy hatchery, which it was a good effort, but you know, ByuN's defense was just immaculate.
He did a really good job and microed very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one player's going to move on, the other is going to be knocked out. This is DRG versus ByuN. And by the way, it's so good to be back here at the GSL.
Yeah, it is really nice.
It's nice.
We had a minute.
A lot of downtime. I did get to cast some StarCraft 2 in Katowice, you know, with Artosis and the rest of the casters there. But it's nice to kind of come back home to GSL. And so we're going to get this best of 3 going. And then we're calling it a night.
Yeah, one more match to find out who's going to be the final player advancing from Group A into the round of 8. ByuN versus DRG as we get ready to go to set number 1 on Gresvin.
All right, guys, game 1's ready. Let's do this. DRG versus ByuN.
Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
This might just be a fast day, Tasteless. There's already an SCV on the map.
Yep. There's already one out there.
Oh, he's going low ground. Okay.
Yeah,
Get a little bit of deja vu.
Yeah, look at this picture of DRG. He's like, this is how many fingers you need to play Protoss. So we've gotten to see the 4 rooms so far. Which room wins? I think Maru had the best room as the players play from home.
Yes, certainly. I mean, he was the one that had like all the trophies on the wall, right? Like, what beats that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very fitting. I've seen Maru stream very rarely. I think he must have something in his contract where he like has to stream for 1 hour a month or something.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I remember like seeing like, oh my God, he's on, but he doesn't have his camera on. So I'm like, But like, I guess that's the stream setup room. Okay, so we're gonna go into this game. We have the double barracks here. I mean, right now ByuN's just doing what already worked for him.
Right.
2 racks is out here. We did see him open up with you know, some Reapers to come out and put some pressure on. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably a lot of different ways you can take this build and in different directions you can take it as it picks up. But clearly he's very comfortable doing this. This wasn't like a one-off weird style of play set up just for DRG in a one-game situation.
Yeah, he seems very comfortable with this kind of play style, and it's quite safe too, right? You go for those 2 barracks very early. We saw DRG try to punish this in game 2 of their first series by going for a proxy hatch Roach Ravager all in. It was the exact same situation with ByuN having this kind of wall in, 2 barracks and 2 depots on the low ground at a natural expansion. He was still able to hold on. You know, you and I, we were wondering whether he would actually be able to hold it because so much critical infrastructure just a screen away from a proxy hatchery pumping roaches and pumping Ravagers could be deadly, but ByuN's just shown that this is a solid approach for him and TVZ.
Yeah, I kind of thought after that game that we had where he rushed it with the hatchery that he'd be like, oh God, he knows what I'm trying to do. I have to mix it up. But apparently he's just going to keep doing it. And if it's not broken, don't fix it.
In fact, even the 3rd barracks coming down now for ByuN. Following up that command center is some nice Reaper control. Is going to net possibly a Link. Even a drone.
Get a drone? Nope, looks like he's not going to get that one, at least not for now.
Oh, he gets that one!
So not a bad start at all. Back at home, the add-ons are being put on here. Now, I do want to point out, whenever you have you're on the left side of the map, it's like not good for your add-ons. I'm not saying this is going to be punished, but it's just something to point out is that, like, if you could just run up there and, like, kill the tech lab before Stim's done, kind of feels like you're going to lose the game.
I think it's one of the biggest positional asymmetries in Terran, or in StarCraft 2 when it comes to balance, is Terran's, like, deciding, or not deciding, but you know, having to deal with being spawned on either the left or the right side of the map and having their add-ons exposed or not exposed.
Because this is like the first 2 add-ons, right? It's the tech lab and the reactor. But yeah, we'll see if this is a factor at all. But you know, whenever I see a game where you have this barrack set up on the outside and then the add-ons are there, I'm always curious, like how this is going to go down. Stim is on the way. There are more infantry being made here, and let's not forget. The game that we casted for game 1 between these 2, it was like he just came across the map and killed him. It was on this map, actually, in reverse spawns.
If I'm not mistaken, that game it was I think it was 2 barracks and a factory for the medevacs, but this time instead ByuN's going to be playing a little bit more heavy on the Marines, and I just want to reiterate what a good job ByuN is doing with these 3 Reapers. Compare this to the game that he played earlier. He's going to get this drone. Oh, is he not?
Well, he's going to go up into this other area here and start to kill these drones. Dude, he's getting so much damage. It's actually wild.
Yeah, you almost never see this kind of damage come in from just 3 Reapers. ByuN is just running laps right now around DRG. He's forced so many spores, get created, get canceled. He's killed a creep tumor. He's killed maybe 3 or 4 or 5 drones. Finally, the Reapers will eventually get cleaned up.
Jeez.
But, you know, every single time that he cancels a spore, he's losing like 18 minerals. I mean, that was so much money lost.
It was crazy. Okay, well, it's showtime. Stim is done. I was talking last time about how there's no medevacs with the army, but I'm sure there's going to be 2 medevacs coming out, right?
Not this time.
No. Okay, I'm all right.
Yeah, this time he's going for
I was doing the wrong cast in the wrong game. I should have saved that for this moment. Should
have traded places. But yeah, this time instead, ByuN going for 3 barracks. Just mass Marine here with Stim, combat shields. Now be finished as well.
There's no escape route. You know, if he can get outnumbered here, he just loses this. But let's see what he can actually do. He's going to gun down that first queen. Nice micro so far. Another queen falls. State.
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
ByuN is so good. Just coming in here with these Stim Marines. I think eventually they will get cleaned up, but the question is, will it be too much damage before then as they just continue to destroy these drones? 8 going down, every single queen. I mean, this might just be game ending. I mean, that just turned it on its head.
So many kills, man.
18 drones dead so far this game. 14 from that push. 4 more from the Reapers, and ByuN is just in the driver's seat right now.
I gotta say, he's making this look so easy, and he's making DRG look so not prepared. And of course now we're gonna have, he's actually gonna cancel the add-on to just make 1 medevac. He just wants a little bit of sustain because he knows at this point in time, if he's making any drones, he's just gonna come back there and kill him.
It's all about tempo right now here for ByuN. DRG sitting at 43 drones. He would love to add some more, but he can't afford to. He has to build Lings or he's gonna die.
Okay, the infantry's coming down. He should, I think, no matter what, be able to deny this base, right? There's not even creep over here.
Off creep for sure.
Yeah.
Stim comes in. Marine's gonna get kited into the mineral line using this hatchery almost as a shield, and with so many Lings getting bled out.
Oh my God. You know, and now he's gonna come out here and try to get the queen. I mean, look, you know, it is a bit of a trade, but I mean, the truth is, like, this is so much damage for just a couple Marines.
This is an elimination match, so GRG is just going to keep fighting, but this game is not going his way by any means, and now that a medevac and 2 tanks are also entering the field, things are just going to get darker here for DRG.
Yeah. So we've got the push coming across the map now, and I mean, I can't imagine that DRG is going to survive. I mean, he's taken so much damage right now.
Finally does have upgrades kicking in from that evolution chamber, but this tank position with all these Marines, I'm not sure this is a breakable position anymore here for DRG. Alien Nest halfway done, but he doesn't have time for that because this hatchery already half HP. Lings are going to try and get us around on the Marines, and they do clean up a lot of them, but that's not going to be enough. GG is called, and ByuN, with a fantastic early game, is just going to push into a 1-0 lead.
I feel like we've never seen an early game like this, TVZ.
Well, 3 Reapers canceled maybe double-digit spore crawlers, which sounds like it should be an exaggeration, but I don't think it is. And
no,
also
I
killed
think you're
4
probably
drones
right.
and a creep tumor, one of the first creep tumors.
And then he killed off every queen with the first the Stim combat shields push.
That was crazy.
But the thing is, this should not work. You know.
It's one of the advantages of going for this opening, though, as DRG is it's kind of similar to, you know how we talk about Protoss, how you go for that cybernetics core, that you can branch out in all these different ways.
Right.
ByuN is kind of playing the same way with his 2 racks opening on the low ground, where in the first game that he played this style, he opted to go for faster factory, faster starport, got those medevacs out and went for drops. And this game, it was just nothing but pure Marines. And as Zerg, you have to be prepared for both of those possible outcomes.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that that's the second game that we've seen him basically lose like that. I know it wasn't exactly the same, but it's like the same idea, right? He just like gets infantry and comes across the map, and you're like, oh god, and like everything starts to get killed. We need to see a much more conservative DRG here. I don't know if he's just droning too hard. The fact that the Reapers are even doing as much as they are, it's crazy.
Yeah, the Reapers I feel like never should be able to get that much damage done. 4 drones is just absurd, even if it is 3 Reapers.
When the Spore canceled that many times?
Yeah.
Like, what am I even watching?
Unbelievable. I mean, DRG's Spore Micro was top-notch. There were many times where I thought that drones were going to go down and he would somehow miraculously be able to cancel the Spore and then build another one in time to save it. But he's going to have to tighten up if he wants to beat ByuN. Match point now.
All right, guys, we're going to go to Baby Lawn. Let's do this.
Baby Lawn.
Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
All right, get ready. We're going to do that joke again with DRG. Because we're not going to be able to use this photo again if he loses. Hey, DRG, how many fingers does it need for Protoss?
DRG.
This many.
Doesn't get old. You ever see those Photoshops with like the Protoss keyboard where it's just like
I love this meme.
F21A.
Have you seen that? There's like an old GIF meme of a like it's like it looks like it's from like PlayStation 1 or something, but some guy who's supposed to be like the cool guy from like I don't know the late 90s, and he's got like frosted tips on his hair, and he's playing with a controller and he's moving his body around as he plays the game, and it's like it's going between shots of him and then shots of like a stasis is in a circle around an army, and then a storm comes down the middle of it. It's so funny.
Oh, that's good.
Just the whole idea that like Protoss don't need any keys to do anything. It's like not even true, but it's just so funny. It's like this meme that's gone on forever.
Oh, I wonder how far I could get with a controller, though. I mean, legitimately, because I once, a long time ago, I was playing Dota 2, you know, just like casually. This was like 2012, 2013, just to like wind down after playing StarCraft. And I had an Xbox controller at home, and I found some program that allowed me to remap the keys, and I was playing Dota with an Xbox controller, and I was not good. I think I got
so funny.
I think I got put in like low priority matchmaking after doing that. I bet I would do a better job with Protoss.
I would wonder, yeah, like if we could get. I mean, we did this sort of at Tase's LAN party with the StarCraft 64.
That's right.
You know, where it's like, all right, well, this is kind of weird, but if you could do something like with a DDR pad, or like you get some kind of crazy controller setup where you have like, you know, I don't know, wands, and I don't know what you could do, but it would be so funny to set up some kind of alternative way to play and then have a tournament and cast it. So we've got the command center coming down now. This was, well, yeah, I mean, I guess ByuN's doing kind of the same thing again. I guess he's totally comfortable with this being the way he's going to approach the game.
It's worked every single game so far. Why not? So it will be 3 Reapers again for ByuN. Low ground CC, Marine follow-up. Second refinery in production, and yep, that's going to be a factory. So it won't be exactly what we saw last game. It might be something a little more similar to what we saw in the first series that ByuN and DRG played, but I mean, who knows? Like for ByuN right now, this kind of seems to be his bread and butter. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had even one additional variant just prepared for this.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably got like a range of different things he can try out. These links, by the way, are going to try to come around from underneath, see if he can sandwich them here. Can he actually get this set up?
He's going to go for it.
That was disappointing. All right.
So fun.
So much build-up for this.
It's so fun watching slowlings try to get the get a jump on.
Try to really do anything, you know.
ByuN's going to pick off a couple more lane kills here. DRG does want to preserve as much HP on that hatchery as possible.
He does not lose a single Reaper. Those Reapers are going to regen. Oh, never mind. He gets a kill on one of them.
And one Reaper does go fall. And until ByuN wants to kind of jump up into the main base and get a better picture of exactly what the game plan is for DRG. He wanted to do that through the natural, but instead just going to come up into the main. Get a good idea of what the lay of the land is here. One more link for his trouble.
All right, so these Reapers are going to go ahead and leave. Stim starts. Honestly, a decent amount of damage. I mean, just even taking out those lings. It's something, right? And from here we have it's 3 command centers, so you know this is not one where he should necessarily be able to come out and do that much damage right away. He's going to be a bit more of a macro mode here, probably hoping that after DRG loses 2 games like straight up in mid game to pushes, that maybe DRG is going to be way too conservative and not make enough drones.
If I'm not mistaken, though, I think this is actually the exact same setup that he had in that one game where he pushed with one fell swoop those first 2 medevacs and a ton of Marines.
Yeah,
and just
maybe you're
plowed
right.
through. So, I mean, DRG, right now, it just feels like he's the player that has to make adjustments. I don't know if, as you said, maybe he's droning too hard. Maybe the Baneling timings aren't right. Maybe the upgrade timings aren't right. But
it's funny because we cast so many games where the Zerg just barely holds that when I saw that happen, I'm like, what? Okay, something's wrong. It wasn't something I picked up on right away.
And it's twice in a row, too. It's 2 different games.
Yeah, it's like, do you not know how to stop pressure from Terran early on? I mean, this is like not an unusual time for them to come out on the map. By the way, the 4th base is being taken down here. This is a good 4th base spot. You know, there's not that much creep over there, which could be worrisome, but it is a pretty long travel distance.
First 2 medevacs coming up. Stim pack done as well, as ByuN's going to try and start exerting some pressure on the map. Always love trying to see Marines go after slow overlords too.
Oh yeah.
Slow overlords and like slow lings are both so comical when they try to get.
Well, it's
things
almost
done.
like these things are not even good. Like, you shouldn't even make these until you have the upgrades for them, you know. Okay, so he's coming out on the map now. And I would imagine, I mean, assuming the DRG can adapt, I mean, he should have an easier time trying to hold this. This is a lot more queens.
A lot more queens, a lot more lings, so this push is not going to get anything close.
Ooh, hold on, he got off creep there. You got to be careful.
It's true. Careful those transfuses. Auto turret in the main base will pick off 2 drones, but DRG playing a much more conservative game right now. Isn't really in a position where too much damage is going to come his way, save maybe this Raven.
Okay, so the Terran's backed off. Now, you shouldn't be able to commit to anywhere if you've got a 3rd command center out that fast. I mean, if you could actually come out and put pressure on and be expanding like that, this would be crazy busted, but that's not the ebb and flow of a StarCraft game, not if the Zerg's playing correctly. But the 3rd base is going to be kicking in, and we're starting to see the Terran power up. In fact, 1-1 is just around the corner here for Terran. We can see it's finishing up here for the Zerg, so at least DRG is going to be able to match that.
Yeah, there will be a small window where DRG has an upgrade advantage, but I'm wondering if he even wants to try and push that right now because he's pretty happily taking a 5th base. You know, everything's going his way right now. ByuN is staying on his side of the map, and actually hold that thought, Tasteless, as the supply depot stays down. All these lings are flooding in, and DRG is going to be trading these. Actually, no ramp at the top of the, or no wall at the top of the ramp either, so these are going to get into the main base.
Yeah, and that entire army is turning around right now. This is so brutal. The Lings are going to come in here. It looks like they're going to be hitting that eBay, maybe able to deny these upgrades.
Oh, boy. Things went off the rails for ByuN in a hurry here. Even Siege tanks getting rallied across the map and caught.
Yeah, he was basically ready to do that full-on push to try to close the game out. 1-1 does get finished, but sorry,
Armor
got
got denied.
Armor got denied, excuse me.
10 SV is down right now for ByuN. DRG, he is trading a lot of units to get this damage done. That was a lot of Zerglings that went down. The question is, will ByuN actually be able to use this new discrepancy in army supply to find counter damage? I'm not sure if he will because his army is all the way back in his main base.
I mean, that may be costing ByuN the game, to be totally honest. You know, we were supposed to be in the middle of a push that maybe would win the game here, but with that counterattack, the fact that that depot wasn't up, the fact that when you pointed this out, State, that there was no depots up on the ramp, so there was no second line of defense. I mean, so many workers killed, upgrades denied, but it's going to finally be ByuN's turn now. He is going to drop up into the main, and I would assume he's going to have a follow-up push down somewhere else on the map with this as well.
And going for a triple drop right now is ByuN here in the main base of DRG. DRG, 3 queens are in position to defend this. Ling's now flooding in. 1 queen will fall, but it looks like DRG should be able to deflect this without too much problem. That 1 medevac so close to getting taken down. 6 HP.
I do feel like DRG has brought this game to a place where he's very safe.
Absolutely.
I think he's in really good shape right now. ByuN is having a hard time playing catch-up, especially interrupting that upgrade. We just now see 2-2 is done over here for the Zerg, which means 3-3 is going to be just around the corner. This is going to be a tough game from ByuN. I think we're probably going to be going to game 3. Not trying to call it too soon here, but it's definitely looking like that.
It certainly does feel that way. DRG playing a much tighter game than he did earlier in his series against ByuN right now. In a pretty commanding position, and infantry armor level 1 now finally getting finished here. And Tasteless, I think the win condition for ByuN is basically him just trying to hunker down, get his hands on up to 8 or 10 gas geysers, and just play for the ultra late game, super cost-efficient army compositions, because he's lost so much steam that unless there's some big engagement that DRG just absolutely throws away swaths of units, I don't see ByuN really getting an opportunity to get much done. The creep spread is superb here for DRG, and the map control is just firmly in his favor. Even coming in now to attack the 4th base here at ByuN. Banelings rolling in.
Yeah, these Banes are going to come down now. This is a lot of damage. These tanks, some of them very much so exposed. Even tanks on the high ground now getting surrounded. Infantry pulling away. SCV is getting destroyed. I mean, this is rough. And I'll tell you what, DRG is not done yet. I don't even know that these SCVs can get away.
A little ring around the rosy right there to try to find their way over here to the 3rd base. But there's Banelings here as well with 35. Now 41 SCVs falling, and I think with those SCVs falling, so falls ByuN's hopes of trying to drag this one out into a supreme late game where Terran can win, because DRG right now is sitting on 80 workers to the 50 of ByuN, with Vipers underway, with adrenal glands almost complete. You got to think that the swarm is just going to keep coming.
Yeah, and I mean, there were so many tanks back there. So many of them were picked off, and resetting that tank count makes you so much more exposed, right? You're not able to shell them from a distance. And it looks like he's going to be setting up for another attack to come in here right now. Zerg nearly maxed out here. A lot more Banes started as well. Not even any SCVs mining at that base, by the way.
Yeah, and that's a good thing for ByuN too, because there was even more Lings and Banes coming in. Blinding Cloud goes down on that siege tank. ByuN trying to kite back into the Liberator range, but he just has so few bio. That's going to be it. GG is called, and we are going to a game 3.
Hell yes, game 3 is upon us. I'm really glad to see that DRG stepped it up. I was getting a little bit worried. It's like, you're not supposed to just lose in mid-game to Terran over and over again.
Right.
Like, but, in that last game, ByuN did do a pretty quick 3rd base. That counterattack did get in there. It did throw him off. I don't know if DRG dies out there, if that push is actually able to come out.
Yeah, I don't think really any player is advantaged too much if that Ling run by doesn't go into the natural base. I think it's just an even game. Whoever plays best is going to win that one match. But, you go for a Ling flood like that, especially right after you finish 1-1, it's going to be deadly with, an open natural ramp, and then the ramp leading into the main base also not having a supply depot wall on it. ByuN just lost all momentum that he had in that game and a fat chunk of his army, his eco supply. It was, that's there's not really coming back from that.
DRG got to where he needed to be, for sure. And he crushed. He looked fantastic. And so now we go to the final map. I'm glad to see that we're getting DRG playing like we're used to seeing him play. From ByuN here, I mean, are we just going to have another double racks at the natural entrance? 3 Reapers made? Is he going to keep trying to do this? Does he have any kind of cheese he wants to implore?
I could see it going either way, The 2X opening, I don't think that was really anything that went off the rails for him in that game. His opening seemed fine. He got decent damage done. He was in a good position there in the mid game. It was just one mistake, letting all those Lings come into the ramp. Kind of made him lose all steam, all firepower. So if he could just tighten it up, we might just see him go for 2X again, but who knows, man. It's ByuN. He can do something crazy.
Neo-Humanity is going to be our final map of the evening. One of these 2 players moves on, either ByuN or DRG. Let's find out who survives.
Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
Hey, DRG. How many fingers do I need to have to play Protoss?
Club Envy, DRG.
I hope DRG wins. Just do it every
We're
player
just doing this every time.
I love after you make this joke too. They always go to the player shop. DRG just looking completely unimpressed. Just a blank, expressionless, focused on the game. All right, well, ByuN going for the same kind of low ground style here. Dropping that barracks at the natural base.
Yeah.
We'll see if he does 2
Is
racks.
it going to be 2? I thought he went 2 racks before gas. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I am wrong. Okay, so yeah, that would make sense. Otherwise, the Reaper couldn't. You wouldn't have gas for the Reaper in time. So he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It has been working for him all night long, and he's already proven that he has different kind of ways he can branch out from this position. And those are all things now that DRG has to kind of keep in the back of his mind. You know, he has to be aware of the possibility of a 3rd racks being added up with this behind that
Right.
command center and a Marine push coming out with stim and combat shields. He has to also have on his radar that pushes with 2 medevacs and a ton of stim Marines also could be in the field. Those are things that he's lost to twice already against ByuN today.
It looks like a really specific build, but you're right. There's like a lot that's going on behind it. You know, you have that pressure coming out there. And by the way, the pressure has done so much to DRG. We're so used to seeing like Reapers come out and not do anything. Maybe they kill a Ling, maybe not. But with this style that he has, he's really able to actually get some stuff done.
Perhaps that's one of the advantages of going for 3 Reapers like this is you have so much more micro potential, and you know, with as good as Maru is, I think that Maru is firmly the best Terran in the world. There's nobody that really controls Reapers like ByuN.
Yeah, like if he was a unit, he'd be a Reaper.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's like I feel like DRG would be a Ravager. But
I could see that.
But yeah, I mean, he's so good with Reapers. Remember Reapers when the game came out too? Like they were so busted. It's like, yeah, why would you not just only make these things?
That was back when we had, what, 5 racks Reaper almost every single TBZ.
Yeah.
It's like Zerg knows it's coming.
Yeah, these games where it's like 2 Terrans both just making Reapers. It's like, well, this is just, I don't know.
Now, Reapers are still a powerful unit in the hands of a skilled operator like ByuN. As for now, he's delaying that 3rd base from DRG, finding some nice damage there on the Queens, on the Lings. Not as many openings here on this, and actually, ooh, uncharacteristic mistake there by ByuN, losing one of the Reapers.
Yeah, he's basically driven him out. Can't get in there anymore. Oh, and he's going to be ready with these Lings if he tries to come up onto the side. Hold on a second. What?
I actually can't believe
he just no-scoped the Queen.
I can't believe you picked that off.
That's embarrassing, man.
Behind this, ByuN adding 2 more barracks. So there's going to be a ton of Marine production underway. These Reapers juking and jiving, trying to dodge. These Zerglings eventually do get taken out. ByuN, with their last breath, will be able to confirm the 3rd hatchery placement has gone down, but he is pumping Marines right now, 5 at a time. Stim underway, bunker being dropped in front of the 2 racks, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of that.
Well, I think it's to make it look like, I think it's a ruse, basically. It's like, oh no, you're going to attack me, I need to defend. He can't be killed, he has 4 racks. But I think if you see that bunker, you're like, oh.
This might be a point where you're vulnerable when in fact you're not.
Or I can expand.
Yeah.
I'm safe to expand, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of mind games,
some
perhaps.
wrinkle brain play right there.
I like it.
Now, combat shield is coming. Stim is almost done. There's got to be a very specific moment where you want to come out, and it should be something that could throw the Zerg off entirely. He might just not be able to handle this balancing act.
Yeah, he wants the timing to hit right when combat shields is finishing up.
Yep.
So factory going underway.
So notice how he's sending small groups out, because it could be very misleading what the Terran is actually working with.
Yeah, and we'll see how long it takes DRG to identify this. I'm not sure if that patrolling Link actually got.
I don't think it can actually get any intel right now.
Okay, well now he knows. That's a lot of Marines coming out. So they're now moving cross map. DRG going to be in full-on Link production, but he just started 5 drones, so he doesn't really have a lot of larvae available. And keep in mind, he's also going for 1-1, so there's a lot of resources invested here in DRG and things that are not going to pay off right away in defending this push.
Yep, combat shields is done. A spine has started over here.
DRG, I think he might be in trouble. Only 14 Links to 27 Stim Marines with combat shields.
He's keeping his distance. He's going to stay off the creep. We don't have a counterattack from the Zerg. We don't have reinforcements from the Terran.
Keep in mind, this is do or die right now for both of these players. The loser of this is out of the GSL Codas. The winner will advance to the round of 8.
I don't see the second wave coming, but he can't attack with this current wave now. I mean, you know, I respect the fact that he doesn't just have everything rallied out, you know, a bunch of Lings just run in there and kill him.
You know, I think if this was the first series of the day, we would have seen ByuN push into that third base right there. But the fact that this is a must-win game for him, he doesn't want to stretch it too thin. You know, he doesn't want to risk everything on this. Those Marines, they're still going to be here. You don't have to use them right now. You forced a lot of Lings out of DRG. Just kind of play back, go for the guaranteed win, or at least the higher probability win. So we see ByuN playing a little bit more conservatively, building up this army back at home. And looking at the mini-map, I'm not actually sure that we have a third command center here for ByuN.
Oh,
So-
you know what? I haven't even been looking for that, but I think you're probably right. I think he's basically just powered up on 2 bases. He's taken his time. He's brought now the tank down. He did open up those rocks in the middle of the map, so he's going to have a very strong beeline. Then go right down here. There are Lings for a counterattack, so we want to watch for that because I do believe this next attack coming in here, this is actually the committed push.
Yeah, absolutely. With 2 siege tanks, 40+ Marines, no third command center in sight. This is everything on the line right now here for ByuN.
Yeah, it's do or die right now. Now or never, as we're seeing ByuN begin to push out.
He's going to start angling over here towards the 4th base of DRG. Not occupied just yet. DRG with those Lings has to decide whether he's going to go for a counterattack or if he's going to go and try and get a 360 surround on this position. A lot of Queens here. And all right, DRG, here he comes.
Oh man, this is a lot of Banes coming up here, but they're not with speed. We see ByuN beginning to kite back over here, but there's so many Lings and so many Banes.
Yep, ByuN continuing to kite back, +1 infantry weapons just now finishing, and he's going to have to lift up unless those Banelings are going to get connections. Able to save about 14 Marines right there. Now DRG going to try and push here into the natural expansion. Nice block there with a siege tank. Fantastic positioning, letting the Lings in. And now we feel the momentum swinging back in ByuN's favor. A moment ago, he was on the back foot, retreating back home, and now here he is pushing one yet again.
And we got to point out, it's DRG on 5 bases right now. If ByuN can't end this game now, he may not ever be able to win, because we are really to the point where Terran needs to have a third, maybe even a 4th, if it's going to be kind of a stable game where he can try to match the Zerg economically. That's not what we've got here. Terran's trying to go for the win, and if he can't get it, I don't know why there's a siege tank and a bunch of Marines over here. But yeah, if he can't make this work, it's going to be really bad.
ByuN trying to find out exactly where DRG is set up for these flanks. His reinforcements come out and join his main force on the middle of the map. And keep in mind, ByuN right now, he is on a timer. Only 48 workers, 2 mining bases to the 65 workers of DRG. He has to make something happen soon. I'm worried he might be giving DRG a little bit too much breathing room. Here we go, Marines engaging right here. This fight's actually happening off creep, so DRG gonna bleed out a large number of Lings for very little gain.
Yeah, he's going to try to commit down over here onto this 3 o'clock position. There's a big counterattack inbound over here as well. The tanks are going to siege up. Back at home, I just see 1 tank. It is walled in, so he's going to be able to keep that alive for a little bit longer.
So many Queens.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy how many Queens are here. But it looks like DRG is willing to give up this 5th base over here at 3 o'clock.
I think he has to. He has to forfeit this base. ByuN is just entrenched outside of that right now, and DRG is playing a really smart game. He's trying to intercept reinforcements. He's trying to force ByuN to keep some forces back at home. And ByuN, he's just slowly trying to whittle away at this defense, but there's so much transfuse energy here for these Queens. We're at over a dozen Queens right now over here on defense as DRG feels like he's just getting ready to strike.
Yeah, you know, he's just staying back. He's waiting to get a little bit more supply filled in here. The problem is that ByuN, he takes that base out, but you have to keep pushing.
He has to keep pushing right now as DRG is starting to flood in. Lings coming in on both the top and the bottom sides. Nice splash damage coming in, but it might just be too much Zerg.
Oh my God, it's so much. He does end up going even on supply here, but he's destroyed the position. There's no 3rd base for Terran. He's remade some, but you got to imagine that while supplies are even right now, surely DRGs can spike back up.
And Dongre Goop, during all of this, he's been getting additional upgrades. I believe he right now has +2 Carapace and is just now starting +2 melee weapons, so these Zerglings are going to get even better right here. Keep in mind, ByuN is just completely all in. He has to make something happen, but DRG's been doing such a good job of buying all the time that he needs. Now a run by here, the natural expansion does get deflected, but what these run bys are doing is preventing the reinforcements from joining the main force here out front.
Yeah, and with these small isolated groups of units, it's something that DRG can basically manage. He's still on 4 bases. That's very good versus Terran's 2. I don't think that Terran can even make a 3rd command center. I think he's going to have to mine out his main and float it.
As you said that on the mini-map, that CC lifts up and starts floating down to the 3rd base. And now DRG going to try and converge on this position. Going to try and break out of this. Those Lings get surrounded, but there's not a lot of Banelings, so these Lings are able to trade, or these Marines, excuse me, able to trade quite efficiently before getting picked up.
And now Zerg should have some counterplay. This is where you can't just rely on being turtled up at your entrance, having a tank on the outside and a depot wall and a factory up. And this is where I think we may see the beginning of the end. But, of course, if DRG overextends, if he's a little bit too crass with his movements, then, maybe the game goes on. But, wow, Terran's going to push again.
I think he has to. He doesn't have a 3rd command center yet, and he knows that if he gives DRG the space that he needs, DRG's going to run away with this game with a superior economy. But, the problem is that DRG's upgrades are so good. Soon 2-2 upgrades for DRG to the 1-1 of ByuN. And, on paper, I like ByuN's army more. 60 Marines to 100 Lings. Only 15 Banes right now. You can fight that, but with these 2-2 upgrades, it's so difficult. DRG confident enough to even push off creep right now. He takes down the tanks immediately, and now coming in for a surround on the Marines.
Oh my God, it's just so many Lings. He gets excellent surface area, and that forced a lift. And now the Lings are going to be northbound coming up here to the only expansion really that Terran has. I mean, the natural is going to be mining out in a matter of maybe a minute or 2 even.
Army supply is still very close. ByuN with a very slight army supply advantage, in fact, right now, but you feel like he has to make something happen. And the way that DRG has maneuvered his army across the map with counterattacks, with run-bys, and then converging back on the forward position and cleaning up the Marines and siege tanks that ByuN keeps bringing out, he's just buying himself so much time. It's been minutes and minutes where ByuN's been trying to get something done. Hasn't. Here comes DRG yet again.
This is another huge surround. There are enough infantry to actually drive this away, but what really does ByuN have left at this point in time?
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to break this. His Marine count's very healthy right now, 36 Marines to only 20 Lings here for DRG, as DRG is kind of up against the ropes. That was a lot of Lings that went down, but keep in mind, the upgrade advantage for DRG is critical.
Yeah, those Lings are going to come up here and actually intercept some more of these Marines that were coming up with the rest of the group. He's going to take that tank out. As you can see, ByuN is desperate to try to take out one of these bases down here. More Banes have been hatched. There's plenty of Queens on the map. Zerg is now taking the bottom left and has reclaimed 3 o'clock, which was destroyed earlier in the initial push.
Yeah, Zerg has all these hatcheries, but I feel like it's mostly just for larvae for all these Lings. Look at the worker count. We've actually fallen from the 60s all the way down to 56, so the economies are more or less starting to equalize here, although DRG obviously has more potential to grow should the pressure stop. And ByuN right now, his army, I mean, he's taking all of these trades and he's somehow making it work. He's somehow staying in this game. If he's able to get some more momentum, one big fight could swing this in his favor.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point, State. It's like ByuN, he doesn't have that much, but he's really kind of making DRG work for it. He's actually going to be hitting the base down here at 6 o'clock, and this hatchery is going to fall as well.
I think ByuN might actually be coming back right now. There's almost a 1-to-1 ratio of Marines to Lings, and that rarely goes well for Zerg. DRG is going to need a big surround right here.
Yeah, he's done so well. He picks up unless the Liberators do even more damage. And,
oh, the control.
It's crazy. There's so many Queens being hit here.
There's no answer for the Liberators. We see DRG throwing in a Hydralisk Den to try to stop this, but ByuN is just gaining momentum right now. DRG with the superior economy, the superior upgrades, higher base count. It doesn't matter. ByuN just keeps powering.
I can't believe it. I think ByuN just won this game.
Unbelievable.
He's just picking up. All he has to do is regroup and come in here with maybe one just killer push. And the only new expansion Zerg has is this one that's sticking out in the middle of the map.
This army does not get stopped tasteless. That is too much bio, too many siege tanks, too many Liberators. Now 2-2 starting for ByuN. I think we might see ByuN advancing to the round of 8.
I think you're probably right, State. I mean, this is just, I just think there's just too much here from Terran. He's going to come down now. He's got a drop coming into the main. He could end up taking out the Baneling's nest even over here. Zerg is going to send some stuff back, but you only do drops like this so you can set up a proper push in the front of their base.
Yep. ByuN just unrelenting with this aggression. The worker count's now DRG falling all the way down to 49 as ByuN is getting ready for a push, but this is a big counterattack over here at ByuN's third base. More SCVs going down. DRG desperately trying to stabilize Tasteless.
DRG doesn't have any time to go back. 19 SCVs have been picked off, so it's now 25 workers total for ByuN, 49 workers total for DRG. This is becoming a very scrappy game.
This game is absolutely crazy right now. ByuN with the army supply advantage, but if DRG is able to take a good engagement after killing those 20-plus SCVs, he can finally ride this one out to a win.
Okay, so the push is going to come down again. Now, you know, that counterattack put DRG back in this game, but it's really all going to come down to the clashing of these two armies. And, you know, DRG's taken a beating, but he's basically managed to always find another expansion, another place to grow into on the map.
He's so desperate to get another mining base, as even this third base right now can only have 8 workers efficiently mine minerals from it, and ByuN just is unrelenting. With this aggression just keeps coming in. DRG on the left side getting set up for another flank Tasteless.
He's coming in over here. There are siege tanks set up, and liberators here as well. The Hydras are going to be able to gun them down. I only see infantry on the run right now. This has been such an insane game.
40-plus Marines are pretty much all that ByuN has right now, as well as his group of medevacs. But DRG at the same time, his army is also very small, and these Marines, they can start chasing down. There's only 3 Banelings on the field.
There's 2-2 upgrades are done here for the infantry as well. They might be strong enough to take on these Hydras. More reinforcements going to come down in here with the mix. I see some Banes, but maybe not enough. The Link's coming here as well. I think ByuN is actually getting fought back.
Yeah, DRG might have done it with that counterattack at the third base in this defense here. At his 4th, he might actually be able to survive here. I mean, this game has just been up and down over and over for both of these players. ByuN still only on 2 command centers, 25 SCVs to 42 drones. ByuN trying to make something happen right now, but DRG adding in all these Hydralisks to the mix adds so much more firepower to his army.
I mean, this is just such a good game. This has been by far the best game of the whole night.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
ending on a high note here. This push is going to come in once more. Does he actually have enough? He's going to target down this hatchery. Not the most valuable target, but it's something. He'll take anything in a game like this. Somehow that hatchery survives.
7 more drones go down. So we have another engagement here. Link's coming in from the top. We'll be able to get a surround on that siege tank. These Marines desperately trying to kite away, but it feels like there isn't enough here at the front for ByuN. More reinforcements coming across the map. He really doesn't want to lose these medevacs.
Right when he thinks he can get those medevacs, more reinforcements come in. Remember that there's really nothing protecting the third base here for ByuN. It's just that ByuN has been pushing so hard that DRG really hasn't had any time to even send anything over there. Drones are being pulled. That's never a good sign.
No, it's not. ByuN might just be able to break this position here. Coming in yet again, another siege tank is siege. These 2 medevacs are the only healing. The drones are pulled. They're trying to come in. DRG bleeding supply right now, down to 25 workers. I think ByuN has done it.
ByuN's going to come in once more. Just some Hydras over here to defend. The medevacs go down. He's chasing him back. He's holding him off. I can't believe it.
This game is insane. 58 supply to 52. 25 workers to 25. ByuN will be able to chase down some of these Hydralisks, but he has to regroup. In total right now, 20 Marines, 2 medevacs, and 1 siege tank on the field here for ByuN. DRG going to try and transfer these drones to that 4th base. He has to populate it. He has to get more economy. Now the natural expansion for ByuN. Lifting to the 4th. DRG looking for another counterattack. And as you said earlier, Tasteless, there isn't a lot of defense here for ByuN. It's been all aggression, so more SCVs are going to fall.
Yeah, here come that infantry now. I think that there might just be not enough over here. Now, SCVs are being killed off, by the way. Doesn't matter. GG. ByuN takes it.
The Marines
Whoa.
are too much. What an insane game.
We didn't catch it on camera, but there was a Link counterattack that killed off a dozen SCVs, but it was too late. There was enough infantry, enough sustain in the push there that ByuN came out victorious. GSL is back.
Wow. That was
crazy. Oh, I'm on camera. Hello.
That was a game.
That was a game. That was such a crazy game.
Yeah, that's one of the best TVs.
That's one of the best ones
ever.
Seen. that was so sick.
Yeah.
You literally didn't know who was going to win until the last second.
It was so back and forth. I mean, ByuN just on his last legs on 2 command centers for literally the entire game, floating down to take a 4th base with a 2nd TC. You could just see the army supplies swinging back and forth constantly. Armies just getting wiped, getting reset, getting rebuilt.
ByuN was taking on a Zerg. He had 2 bases. He was against a 5-base Zerg.
It was
had to use his main command
crazy.
center to just land that at the 3rd. Didn't even have anything protecting it. Had DRG maybe just taken Lings, like 10 Lings a couple more times and sent it over there, maybe he wins that. And they were both taking so many losses, nobody was able to remake workers.
Yeah, I felt like every single time I would go and look down at DRG's work account, it would be like 2 or 3 drones less than it was a minute ago.
Yeah.
So it was at the 60s, and then it fell to the 50s, and then it fell to the 40s, and it's like, okay, what is happening here?
Yeah.
ByuN is somehow working his way back. And then the counterattack comes in, and ByuN goes down to 25 SCVs. And then he has to lift his natural command center into a 4th base. But still, he just has just enough steam to win the final deciding match.
Interview time. 1 map away from being eliminated. It seems like you poured everything you had inside of you into that game. How do you feel? Up till the end, I wasn't sure if I was going to win or not. I'm so happy. I'm almost happier winning this here than I would be at a normal offline match. Until the very end, I just didn't know what to expect. I was just giving it my all. So I'm just kept telling myself, don't give up, just keep fighting. And I did it. Yeah, we could feel that in the game. It seems like you were using every fiber of your being to win. Do you have? He says your camera resolution's really, really bad. Do you have any plans to get a new camera? So we can get better resolution. This camera's actually really expensive. It's a good quality camera.
오히려 저도 성주한테 들었거든요. 화면이 좀 잘 안 나온다는 거를. 오히려 부담감이 더.
So I heard from Maru that
그렇죠.
that my webcam seems trashy.
그리고 변현 선수가 팬미팅
But that reduces my pressure. I feel less stressed. This bad image quality.
오프라인에 와라. 오프라인에 날 보러 와라.
나의 진정한 모습 보여주겠다. 정말 오늘 그 조성주 선수에게 대결에서 아쉽게 패배를 했잖아요. 그러면 서로의 여기서
Yeah, and then the caster park says, well, then I guess you're saying that you really want people to come offline and see you at the finals when we have an audience again. So your match against Maru, you had a little bit of trash talk in the chat room. But you actually had some great games. After I had the match against Maru, I felt like I wasn't as focused. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to advance or not. But since, you know, when I'm playing at my home, which is the most comfortable place for me to play, I think that helped me out a little bit. I was able to stay comfortable.
이 정도면 근데 오프라인 상황 갔을 때 렌을 데리고 와야겠는데요. 거의 소울 프렌드.
네, 뒤에서 지금 보입니다. 인형인 것 같죠, 여러분?
인형 아니에요.
인형 아닙니다.
지금 인터뷰 하고 있네요.
카메라에 좀 나오고 있습니다. 지금 저희 코치거든요.
Oh, I guess the puppy's in the background. I just noticed the puppy's back there. He said, yeah, it's my coach. He says the puppy keeps him relaxed. Do you have any words to your pets? I want to say thank you to my coach, the dog,
조성 선수와의 경기는 이미 끝나는 거니까 그거 논외로 오늘
for
저그전을
keeping me cool. Aren't you glad this is translated, guys?
여러 가지 파생되는 빌드를 보여줬잖아요. 최근 저그전의 트렌드는 투병형 사신으로 주도권 잡는 게 정답인 것 같나요?
이거는 저만 하는 팝하고 있는데 요즘에
So there's been 2 builds that have been Zergs have been doing. I don't know which builds they're talking about. There's basically a question about the meta. He says the 2 Rex Reaper build. You gonna open with Hellion or with 2 Rex? It's basic. The base build the Terns have been using recently. It's probably gonna be very popular. You're probably gonna see a lot of it in this tournament. Save it to the next rounds. Any goals for the season? I'm really happy. I'm doing the GSL. It's good to be back.
나쁘지 않았다고 생각하고
And I'm very happy with my performance.
이번이 진짜
I did better than I expected.
그 상황에서도 이렇게 일단은 성주를
I think this is going to be a big opportunity for me.
안 만나기 때문에 어느 정도 성적을 노려볼 수 있을 것 같고 연습도 되게 열심히 하고
I've already met Maru. That means I won't be meeting him in the next round. So I hope I get a lot of support from the fans. I think I can do very well in the season. And obviously, even though GSL's gotten smaller,
다시 한번 축하 말씀드리고
personally,
8강의 더 멋진 경기 기대하도록 하겠습니다.
I'm going to practice even harder. This tournament is even more important to me now. So cheer for me, guys. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. GSL's back. Group A is done. The expected players moved on. I got to say that was a crazy game. That's one you could watch many times over. It was so close, so epic.
Yeah, that was an all-time great match.
That was definitely one of the greatest GSL matches literally ever. You could not have asked for a better game. Sorry to Nightmare and DRG, but, you know, it's a tough group. Maru moves on. Maru very well may win this entire thing. ByuN, of course, look, he played very well. I think we can all be happy that he advances on. So 2 Terrans survive into the round of 8.
Yeah, 2 Terrans advancing from the round of 8. You know, a lot of people, when this patch hit, they were talking about how Zergs are probably going to be dominating everything even more than before, but so far, Terrans looking pretty unstoppable. So we get a look over here at our next match. It's going to be on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. KST. Hero Keen, Cure, and Solar. Another nice mix, 2 Terrans, 1 Protoss, 1 Zerg. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
It's going to be a great day. That's Thursday, same time, same place. We're going to be on every Tuesday and every Thursday. No live audiences. I was very sad. We had some people show up today that we had to turn away. We will have a live audience for the final day. So the Final Four and the finals are all played in one day. Kind of like we used to do in Super Tournament. So I'll see you in 2 days, State.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you guys for joining us. It's good to be back. It's sad that we're a little bit smaller, but we got to find a way to go on. Do check out the GSL Patreon. That money does go to support the prize pool. 100% of that.
Yep, 100% of proceeds from Patreon, or if you're watching on a Frigate TV, supporting there as well.
Balloons.
We'll go to balloons, thank you. I forgot which.
The balloons give us the power.
I forgot if it was like stars or balloons.
I think it's balloons. Yeah, it's balloons. It's balloons. Come on.
Well, yeah, all of that support goes directly into funding the prize pool.
Right.
And making this tournament even better for the players.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, without the players, there would be no StarCraft like this.
It's kind of like that, like adopt a whale thing, but it's like you just adopt a tournament.
Adopt a whale?
Or adopt a highway. Yeah, you know, you
I've heard of adopt a highway.
Send money to
a whale.
Yeah, that's when I was a kid. They were adopting whales. So for the best viewing experience, you can see that link there. I don't know why we're showing that at the end of the show, but next time, if you're tuning in, I guess it's like a picture-in-picture if it's on YouTube, but if you want to see the normal viewing experience, that's the link.
Yeah, I noticed on YouTube there's this little kind of like screen that's like set up like this that borders around the edges, but the Frigate TV portal has the direct view, the full resolution, maximum quality, best way to watch GSL. And,
so go there, yeah.
I'm excited for the matches on Thursday, man. We had great matches today with Maru and ByuN advancing. Gonna get to watch Hero on Thursday as well. Should be fun.
And we've already lost a Zerg. We only had 3 Zergs for the round of 16. Yeah. So
we only have 2 left.
I mean, yeah. I mean, is
Zerg underpowered?
Oh, I hope so. It's about time. All right, guys. That's all the time we have. We love you. We'll see you in 2 days. Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Only online. No studio audiences for this season. We love you. Take care. Bye-bye.